Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. I am Michael Petrow, and joining me on the show this week is Mark Cowell, Emily Clark, and Rob Strachan. We start the show off with weekly watch lists consisting of Euphoria, so crazy, druggy teen drama, F1, race car driving, open wheel race car driving, and how fucking addictive that show is. I talk about the Godzilla animated series, Godzilla 1, 2, and 3, that takes place in space. Yes, I said that right. And what else do we have? Oh, yeah, Inventing Anna. I don't have time for you. Or however she says it. Julia Garner, you're awesome. I'm sorry I did that to your role. Anyways, that's who's on the show. That's what's on the show. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We have a live recording coming down the pipeline for you. Late April, early May. Stay tuned. Follow us on social media. If you want to know how to enter the debaterverse, so to speak, there should be like a really ominous track behind that. The debaterverse. If you want to know more, see more, talk to us, engage with us, get shout outs on the show, all that fun stuff, stick around for the end credit trailer. That's where all the important stuff is. That's where more of this information will be in the future. And then subscribe to the show so you're always in the know. I don't have anything else for you, ladies and gentlemen, this week. I'm going to go back to putting together my the Batman Lego, because I've got a Catwoman and I've got a Batman on their bikes, and that just has to be done. So I will shut the fuck up. I'm going to cue that reel, and you enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome everyone to the official space section of the charter.
What's the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Sir, you're out of order.
Out of order. I show you out of order.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Real Debaters production. Welcome back to another episode. I am Michael Petrow.
Emily Clark.
Mark Cowell.
Jimmy Skinner.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm Rob Strachan.
Nobody told me we were having Amelia Clark on the show today.
Yeah, I know it's a pretty big deal, but everybody try to calm down.
Is he fucking with me, or is your have you changed your name?
She also has an E on the end of her last name, which, as we all know, I do not.
As it's written out.
Yeah, Emily Clark with no E. Yeah. And
Do you have dragons?
I'm not supposed to talk about them.
Can you walk out of fire?
Not by my most recent estimation, but I haven't tried.
How close are you to Jason Momoa?
Closer than he probably knows.
Well, that's a good segue to what we might talk about later on.
Yeah.
Anyways, see what I did there.
Oh, I like that. That's a perfect launch pad. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode. We are going to do a little real talk for you this week. No debate, just a bunch of news, conversations, loves, dislikes, questions, and answers. Hopefully, we answer for you by the end of this episode. So, to start us off, let's find out what Mark watched. It's been a minute. What'd you watch this week?
I'm watching Mark play with sand, I think, right now.
Kinetic sand.
Kinetic sand.
That's simply there for somebody who hasn't seen a show or a movie and doesn't need to be a part of a conversation. They can just go in the corner with the kinetic
Something
sand.
to play with.
Something to play with.
What did I actually watch this week, or what am I going to tell you I watched this week? You know what?
How about what you actually watched?
Yeah.
What I actually
I would
watched,
actually like to know.
since I get to go first. Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, me either.
It's so fresh what happened this week.
His
we can't
costume's
talk
off-putting for me.
about it.
He's
Wow.
got a weird
I don't.
look
We could
overall.
talk
It's
about
all
it
over
in this
the
room.
Yeah, it's all over the internet.
But
right
then
now.
these two get.
Yeah.
I
spoiled.
haven't seen it.
Yes.
I think it's my own fault that I haven't seen it though. So if you do spoilers, it's
So I watched Peacemaker and I watched Book of Boba Fett, which just ended since like last week.
Yeah,
right?
we've already
So-
ruined Boba
Okay,
Fett, so
well, there
that's
we go.
fine.
Then
Keep
that's
going
no
with
problem.
it. No, what's your take on it for a second?
on Boba Fett.
Yeah, we really
it got
went.
really good when we got less Boba Fett.
See, I think the opposite. I was like, I'm not here to watch The Mandalorian. I'm here to watch Boba Fett, and I got kind of about
yeah,
those
I
episodes.
think the scales tilted the other way. Like the little bit was cool, like when Mando showed up, and then getting a little bit of Grogu. And then it just sort of swung too much the other way. And then the finale kind of came back, I feel, to some extent. I like that Boba went and got his...
Rancor.
Rancor? Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was watching it, and Chrissy's like, oh, he's going to go get that big thing that they were training earlier. I'm like, oh, I totally forgot. There's no way they're going to go get the Rancor. And sure enough, I'm like, that's sweet.
Well, it was such a...
Well, now it's ruined for me.
That's fine. You it's watching it, and Mark can back And you've seen it, Emily?
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Watching it is just a throwback to the Star Wars of yesteryear. The
Absolutely.
Star Wars you loved. Like even if you know the story.
Do they bring Boba Fett's ship into it?
They are.
Yeah.
Oh, they are.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure.
What I really liked was the
I
second
thought
last.
maybe the Jawas got to it or something.
There are Jawas, lots of Jawas.
There's tons of Jawa.
There's some Jawa
Tatooine.
love too.
There is some Jawa love.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Interspecies erotica for sure.
I liked the episode when they went back to talk to Timothy Olyphant's character.
Just
That was
Yes.
you mean the sheriff from
in
Justified?
Freetown.
like the so Western
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
literally could have been the Wild West. It was awesome with Cad Bane, and yeah, that was awesome.
Cod Vanth, Cad Bane, that whole pulling back of the jacket and the high noon stuff. It's very like you,
I actually
you
kind
know.
of don't want to see it now that Timothy Olyphant's in it.
Really?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Is it just because he's too handsome and when he's on screen you can't
Defend-
pay
yeah,
attention to the
defend that.
story?
His gambit was so bad. It's ruined him in movies. for
Oh,
me
that's
forever.
what he did.
I'm just fucking with you. I like Timothy Olyphant.
Okay.
We're gonna get a new Gambit anyway.
I like Deadwood.
Deadwood, Gentleman Sheriff in Deadwood, Justified, which I never got to see, but now
You
having
mean the
seen
exact
this,
same role but modern?
Okay, is it? Because I don't know. I've been as soon as I saw.
I don't know. I've never seen Justified, but
Okay.
that's why I hear.
Underrated, he was the husband in the Santa
Santa
Clarita
Clarita
Diet,
Diet.
which was an amazing show.
He was good in that,
So fucking good.
and he was good as the villain in Die Hard 4.
How about the
Or was it
drug?
5?
How about the drug dealer in the porn director in The Girl Next Door?
Oh my god, I forgot about that
How about
movie.
the drug dealer from Go? Or
Oh,
was
really?
that Stephen?
I don't know.
Was it?
He was the drug dealer, guys.
Was he? He was a drug dealer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
all
and these
right.
are all creepy. Katie
Anyways, it
Holmes.
was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
This is what I talked about. We're getting too far off. Of
You mean this is
what
nothing
I
to do
watched.
with Boba
Yeah,
Fett?
no,
Okay.
no. So that's what I watched. It was good.
Awesome.
I'm still second season of Euphoria.
Is that worth watching? I don't know about like sexy drug teenagers. Like, is that a thing I want to watch?
You know
It's
what?
good.
So have you seen?
It's good.
What do we Kids?
Yep.
From we talked about it from
This-
the 90s.
yes.
91.
Nope.
It is like 2 seasons.
I
of
have no legs.
Uncomfortableness of kids. It's teenage like sex,
But it's not.
drugs.
But it's not Requiem for a Dream uncomfortable.
It is. It's extended. Like I get anxiety watching it. Like it's actually.
I
I,
do
can only watch one episode at a time.
But it doesn't have needles in the arm.
yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
In the second season,
Euphoria. Oh, I guess you don't see the actual needle going in the arm.
that's
but
the difference. But that's what I'm getting at. Like in Requiem, they show the whole ceremony behind it.
Have you watched Euphoria?
Yeah.
Season 1 when Rue gets
I know.
hit up with fentanyl there. That was a pretty
Yeah, I guess so.
intense.
Yeah, I guess there was needles in
That
there.
fentanyl scene in season 1 where it's the drug dealer, the guy with the
Yeah.
face tattoos. He's like, "It's
Yeah.
okay, don't worry about it." Yeah, there are lessons in
I forgot about that part. I
Euphoria
must have
that
blocked it out.
parents want to teach their kids, but the way Euphoria does it, it's like Stephen Levinson is the showrunner, and he's all about like the shock and awe treatment.
Yeah.
I've seen the first episode. Mark, are you
I
deeper
like-
into it?
Have you of season 2? You haven't.
I've seen the first episode of season 2, and then I was like, I still need a minute. It just fucking rocks because you're like, we've all experienced what happens in this show.
I think it's Sorry, I was gonna say the
Oh, I'm
second
sorry.
or
I've never
third.
done drugs.
This
We'll talk
no,
after.
No, me either.
the
Sorry,
second
I
or
didn't mean
third
to assume my
episode.
problems on you.
The second or third episode gives you the backstory to the dad.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
Takes him back to high school, so it's very good.
I just feel like
Oh,
the last
like the
show's over. Let's go watch it.
the last like very dramatic like sexy teenager show I watched was like The OC, which was ages ago, and that first season of that show was really fucking good,
Well, Em,
and then it got bad after that.
The old sexy teenager genre.
let me tell you.
And I was a sexy teenager at the time,
You
so
never,
it wasn't
you never
weird.
watched Riverdale?
Oh, I did. I am watching
Scooby-Doo?
Riverdale.
Sexy
Riverdale was
teenager.
good the first 2 seasons,
was,
and then
yeah.
it got all fucking weird.
The Wonder Years. How about the Wonder Years? No. Sexy teen
I'll
drama?
give it a-
No.
I'll give
Boy
it a
Meets
try.
World.
Boy Meets
Happy Days.
Topanga gave me a 6 to 12.
Oh.
Yeah, if you were to watch Euphoria, like here, selling feature. First 30 seconds to a minute of the second season, first episode, is an old man's dick. But like, you know how in most dick shots you see the dick and then
Yes.
you're done. They cut 3 different angles
Oh, it's also just
to how you see the dick. And
There is
I call
more.
that equal opportunity filmmaking.
oh, I don't have a problem with the
There's
dick,
more
but it's-
male nudity than there is female for
Oh,
sure.
that's fun. And I'm also a fucking liar because I watch Sex Education, and that's nothing but sexy teenagers. We talked about that a few
Yes,
episodes
yeah.
ago, so,
But
you know.
this is the
All right.
dark side of
Yeah, but
what
but that's
happens.
light. Like it's not. This
Yeah,
is,
it's
this is
more funny than it
this
is.
This is dark.
I think
Okay.
Zendaya is just
Zendaya is
fantastic.
brilliant in it.
Because
Oh,
it's
is
kind
she
of
in
it's
it?
Yeah,
She's
because
the
it's a-
lead.
She
She's
is
the lead. She's
great.
amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
well, because she usually plays a really strong character, and in this one she's very vulnerable.
Here, I will hold your hand through it.
Strong but vulnerable, I should say.
Emily,
Yeah.
you start it with hubby, and then we'll create a message group, and then I can walk you through where it's all going so that you don't feel that you guys are doing this alone, because together you're going to look at each other and you're going to be so depressed when you're done watching an
my
episode.
God.
There's also
That's
a
a really
great
good
scene
selling
in
point.
season 2 coming up here. I think it's episode 3, where they've now met another. There's that other boy that
Yes.
Rue meets at the party that they do drugs together, where she kind of relapses. Well, now there's a scene with Rue, Jules, and him that they have a big
Ooh.
discussion about like sexuality and gender, and it's actually really cool coming from the places that all of them are in.
Interesting.
It's very good.
Levinson.
Very
this was
real.
What's her name? Who plays? She was in The Locust. Not The Locust. God damn it. Whitney.
If you don't know, we are not going to.
That's too much pressure. She's one of the core group. I'm gonna vamp as I figure
In
this
the
out
show?
here. In the show, she's the one who was dating. Oh god damn it,
Cass.
Sydney Sweeney. There we go.
Okay.
So Sydney Sweeney. There was 4 or 5 more nude scenes that were scheduled for her this year, and this is a testament to Levinson's. Like, okay,
Is she the blonde?
she's the blonde. Yes, the blonde who gets up at 4 a.m. to get ready in one of the
That
most.
yes, episode is
So, showing the pressure that goes on to her because she is about being the perfect high school student. And it reaches to you at your core as a dude when we've done dirty deeds cheap in high school. And then as a girl, things you've experienced on behest of dudes who do dirty deeds,
Yeah.
right? Like it plays from both sides. But anyways, Sweeney was like, I don't think this nude scene expresses my character. And Levinson was like, fair enough. It's out of the show.
Well, that's good. Good
Just
for
like
her.
that. So like
Good for him.
the what's going on in the show is also making conversations take place about how you make the show, which
That's
is
awesome.
which is really fucking cool.
and that's the series where she's getting up. You just mentioned the 4 a.m.
Yeah,
like, multiple
for
days
school.
in a row, and like all to get his attention, and all it takes is that one like second glance in the hallway, and it's now justified her seemingly week of
Yeah.
spending 40 hours primping, and
It really has conversations.
that's so teenage.
Yeah.
in a nutshell.
I loved it. Don't get me wrong. Like to Mark's point, you can't watch them back to back and be like, yippee ki yay, let's have some fun. It's
I think it's uncomfortable in a good way, and I think it's shot really well. It's artistic. Some of the flashbacks are
Got a
great.
good filter on it.
and
Anyways, it was very good. I enjoyed it.
It's a good HBO show.
how many Narcan kits out of 10 do you give it?
Wow.
I think for what it is, it sort of stands alone and doesn't have a whole lot of comparison. It's for sure like an 8.5 for me.
Wow.
It's good.
Half Narcan kits.
I like it. Emily, you go next.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. So this week I started watching. What's it called? It's like building Anna or creating Anna.
Oh, Inventing
or
Anna.
Inventing Anna. Yeah, Inventing Anna.
Yeah.
I watched that this week too.
Yeah. So I've been really enjoying it. I think it's really, really fun. I like all of the character development. I'm enjoying all of the acting. I think the writing is really interesting. The pace is really good. So I'm only part of the way into it. So I guess I can't really give a full overview of
Where are you at with it right now? Like, what's the story? Because I've heard that it's a true story.
I think
It's based on a true
so
story.
partially a true story. So it's like a socialite or someone who tricked people into believing that she was a socialite, and it's a story about the journalist who is writing the expose on this woman who's been arrested. And so it's her I guess through her trial, and it goes back through how she got there and everything. So it's really interesting. It's that girl from Ozark,
Julie Garner.
Julie Garner, yeah. And I thought her accent was really bad, and then I looked up and listened to what a couple accents from that should sound like, and it actually sounded really good. So I clearly just don't know what I'm talking about.
Born in Russia, but then
And then raised
raised
in
in Germany.
Germany.
There's a
Yeah, so it's quite
scene
good.
with her on one of the late night shows.
Mm-hmm.
And she's saying, well, for the accent, I took the Russian accent. And then she starts doing the Russian. She's like, so you talk like, and then she says, who now lives in Germany, but is trying to sound American. So she wants to sound American enough to her German friends that they say, oh, you sound American, but German enough to her English friends. American friends,
Yeah.
so she sound, and there's this weird twist.
She did a really great job, and I wasn't sure at first. It sounded strange, so yeah, I did some digging, and I think it actually is really awesome. So that's really good. And then the other thing is that the new F1 season is starting right away.
Oh boy.
The new Drive to Survive will be coming out, and they've just dropped all the new cars, like released all the new cars for F1. So I've been catching up on other seasons of Drive to Survive, waiting for season 4, and then waiting for the new F1 season to come out.
Love
So I can
that
start
F1
watching.
show.
I fucking love everything about F1.
What is so? It's a reality show. You've talked about it before, Rob. It's a reality show based around the industry.
Drive to Survive, yeah. So Drive to Survive is a reality show that's kind of like a series of little documentaries on the different teams, and it focuses on sometimes on the drivers, but mostly on like the principals for the teams and the drama that goes on behind the scenes of trying to figure out, where the drivers are going to land and the politics, and and where the money's going to be spent and where the sponsorships are coming from.
Sponsorship stuff, and then talking about how they're trading drivers back and
Yeah.
forth, and like
And the
this guy,
pressure.
Renault's losing this motor contract and it's going to this person, and it's just it's fascinating.
And it's really cool because it focuses not necessarily on when you're just watching real seasons of F1, you're kind of focusing on Red Bull and Mercedes, watching them go back and forth between 1 and 2. And then in Drive to Survive, they might focus on something that's like P15, 16 or something like that, like a race that's kind of you would never really pay too much attention to if you're watching the live race. So it's really cool. You get to know their characters kind of, and so that makes it a little more fun when you're watching the real races. And
I like how they make it seem like how big of a deal it is to come 12th versus 15th,
Yeah.
or to come 8th versus 12th.
Yeah.
And it's like the biggest fucking deal, even though to us you're kind of like, it's not 1, 2, or 3, so who the fuck cares?
Yeah, you're not
right?
even on the
But
podium.
it
Yeah.
makes that difference between being in the top 10 versus being in the bottom 10 is the difference of millions of dollars for these racing teams, and sometimes we'll keep them fluid for the next season or not.
Tell me the last race of last season wasn't scripted like a movie.
Oh, Dubai.
It was insane.
It was crazy. It was really, really interesting the way that it ended too. And it was funny because it was so early in the morning here.
Yeah.
And so we debated back and forth, like, do we wake up and watch it or do we not? And Dan had a huge hangover. And so I had intentionally not drank because I wanted to wake up and watch it, but I watched it in bed. And so he kept like waking up and then like falling back asleep. And it was so exciting. I kept like screaming and like he kept like waking up and getting really mad about it. But yeah, the way that it ended was nuts.
And the
then,
decision by the race coordinator to
Yeah.
allow it was
so
just
so Massey, the race, like the head of the race coordinator, he actually got fired over that. He's fired now. So
awesome. I didn't hear that.
yeah.
So what is?
So
what
did
is
Max
this?
win fair and square, or did Hamilton get robbed?
I think Max won fair and square.
I think Max won, but it happened in a way that was pretty questionable.
I think the FIA had given sort of instruction to try to not end the race under a safety car, which is inappropriate. They should not have given that instruction because you run the race in whatever way you need to run the race safely. And so a bad choice was made, but I don't think it was Massey's fault.
This week on Race Debater.
Yeah.
No, this is. But no, what you're talking about, like to LA, this sounds like something you want to watch because there's a story.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
inside of what they're
It's
doing.
totally where sport mixes with entertainment.
Yeah.
And how even in a live sporting event, you can tell that there's a script that they want to follow to make it the most exciting.
It was very dramatic. Even like the way that the race principals can speak to the race directors live and it's broadcasted, which is crazy. So then you got the back and forth between Toto and Massey, which is like, no, like Michael, this is inappropriate. And he's like, Toto, we went race car driving, like, and I actually have a mug of it now because it was so fucking funny. Like, Toto, we went race car driving. It is what it is.
I work with a huge Hamilton fan, and all I was hearing about but it got me into it and got me to watch some of the videos and like breakdowns of the actual how it took place were really interesting.
was
Do you get stuff about the car? And
yeah.
about
Oh, yeah.
the rankings. Like, are we getting all of the
You get it all.
drama that comes from?
It explains everything, and it actually will take somebody that was maybe on the sidelines and said, "Oh, okay, this is kind of interesting." It pulls you in, and it's just, I don't know, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
I was never a big car guy growing up, and the Jeremy Clarkson show. Name eludes me right now. Top Gear.
Top Gear.
Yeah.
The original?
Top Gear, the original. Yeah, not Top Gear, the original pulled me in because it was a car show, but it was for people who didn't really have to know much about cars. Is F1
That's
a car show for people
nailed it.
who don't need to know a
Yeah,
lot about
it's the F1 Drive to Survive is the F1 show about people who don't need to know much about F1. But once you start watching Drive to Survive, you will start watching F1 just because it's so much fun and you're so into the characters is the wrong word, but like the personality is.
I imagine filming a race, like filming any sort of reality show, the competition, like watching a bunch of cooks do their thing, like most of us know, like it's fun to watch, but the speed competitions really aren't that great. But filming a race and then knowing that these guys will be plastered all over Netflix, and it's like people will continue to watch
I
you
actually
lose over.
almost-
Like that's got to add to the
almost-
competition.
I almost like watching the recap from the F1 show more than actually watching the race sometimes, because it adds this context to it sometimes. And also a lot of times when you're actually watching an F1 race, they're not always following that back or that middle story as closely.
Definitely.
Right?
And F1
gotta
races
check
take
this
a long
out.
time, right? Like an F1 race is like 2 hours if there's not a million safety cars and whatever. And so, but a Drive to Survive episode is 30 minutes, so you get the whole.
And it's also on 4K HDR, which you're not going to get in a live F1
Oh, and the
broadcast.
sound.
I think what's neat is, I mean, yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
The drama that comes from taking, like, it's really probably one of the richest sports,
Oh,
if
yeah.
not the richest
So
sport
much
in
money.
the world. So it's just a bunch of multi-millionaires doing
Rich
well,
mother-
billionaires, owners, multi-millionaire
Yeah.
drivers
and
that
principals.
And
that
the
are
principals,
that are risking, like they're saying, like Verstappen does things that, like, his high risk to reward compared to other drivers makes
Yeah.
it super dramatic, because he does things that other people are like,
has those really tight corners.
like
and
the
stuff.
physics
yeah.
of it is, it's almost impossible what he does to try to risk things, but it's this huge risk reward. And when you start learning about that side of it, it's like, oh, this is way more interesting than just like dudes going around a track.
Is he like the free solo of the F1 world?
He definitely like
Doing this
both-
without any sort of physics involved.
Both Verstappen and Hamilton are dicks, right? Like they both want to win no matter what. They want to win more than anybody else, and they'll do whatever they have to do
And they
to
both
win.
have the best
Are,
cars.
where
And
they,
they have
where are
the
they
best
from?
cars. Hamilton is British, so Lewis Hamilton is British. He
And-
drives for Mercedes,
and Max is
Verstappen is
Dutch.
Dutch, and he drives for Red
I
Bull.
was hoping there'd be some sort of like country against country,
No.
you know, in like France versus Italy or something when it comes to soccer, right? Like you've got
Yeah.
that country.
well, Lewis
support.
Hamilton, I believe, is the highest paid athlete in the world.
Yeah,
And
he's
he's a
been around.
driver.
His rookie season was 2012, right? He's been around for 10. He's been
He
driving
won
10 years. now.
7 championships in a row. Of
Yeah.
course he fucking deserves
He's-
but he
that.
makes more than Ronaldo.
I had
He
no
makes-
idea you guys had such love for the open wheel racing world. This is
It's
awesome.
so
I want to
cool.
get into this.
It's really fun.
Like
Yeah.
I only get drawn to that kind of shit when there's a story to it, right?
Yeah,
So
but then also you get in the story. You can pick a team. Like my favorite team's McLaren. Like I love the Ricardo Norris.
I
Like,
smell a chat group
Danny Ricciardo's
offshoot.
he is, and like Lando Norris is just the sweetest baby, wonderful love muffin on the whole planet. He's so funny and so cute, and he's just like, I don't know, Lando Norris at me. Let's be friends.
You heard it right here, man.
You got to
It's a
think
direct shot.
it's really the cream of the crop. Like anything where you take, there's like 20 people in the world that do it.
Yeah.
Like they're, you know, it's the best of the best.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't know fuck about racing, but like NASCAR seems
There's
there's a
usually
lot.
30 because you always have an alternate.
And then there's F2, F3.
Not a lot.
But like you can NASCAR
It's not a lot.
pretty
It's
much
very
anywhere.
small. It's very elite.
Yeah, NASCAR. I have no
You
interest
can't
in
F1
NASCAR.
everywhere. Like
Yeah.
F1 is,
Which is comical because like you'd think that the obsession with racing would like bleed over into other types of racing, but absolutely not. I have no interest in watching NASCAR, but I will watch F1 until my eyeballs bleed. Like, yeah.
how
Because
many.
you're hoity-toity like that.
Hoity-toity.
You're sophisticated. You're not.
That's what I tell
You're
myself.
not a redneck.
Sometimes I watch F1 in my inflatable hot tub in my garage. So that feels pretty redneck.
It's like it's like the Kentucky Derby, so like
That's
horse
almost
racing
couture.
versus like dog racing.
It's true. It's just the science.
I got the pedigree now. I get what
The
you're.
science behind
okay.
it's so cool, and like they just came out with a whole bunch of new regulations for the cars, like different wheel size. Their new cars were just unveiled. They all look amazing except for Ferrari, which looks like a tiny Hot Wheels toy or something. But
Ferrari only wins when they cheat.
yeah, well, they have, and they've definitely done that. quite a
Enzo's
lot.
flipping over in his grave right now.
Like it's
Good.
the edge of innovation,
Yeah.
the edge of like
It's
so
gonna
much
be how
money
we
being-
get. It's gonna be how we get really long-standing, probably renewable energy cars, because it's going to be like, when you can take that you take the fuel strategy out of racing, which they did a while back. If you can take fuel altogether out of racing, this is how we're going to end up with stuff that like sort of trickles down to day-to-day use. It's these high-end cars.
I have a feeling I'm gonna be making one of those videos where it's like one day after watching F1, one
Kinda
week
like the-
after
like-
watching F1.
Kind of like the porn industry pushes technology and home video and
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
Broadband.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Yep.
love. How many angry drivers at the finish line out of 10 do you give it? Because don't they
Oh,
get out sometimes
man.
when they get pissed off at each other and take the helmets off? And
They sometimes they get a
scuffle?
little mad. You know what? Drive to Survive is
That's how much I know about
is
it.
Drive to Survive is a 10 out of 10. It's
ooh, it's on the ace board.
P1. Yeah.
All right.
You
God
gotta, if you
tier.
haven't seen it,
We've
you've
got
got to watch it.
Our ace board right now has the Creep Show reboot and Scream.
Ooh.
Jimmy had the Creep Show reboot,
Nice.
and Charles had Scream. Scream was a perfect ace for him. So now we have.
Yeah, it's an ace. If you haven't
Oh.
watched it, watch it. If you have watched it, watch it again. Season starts soon. There's nothing better than competitive
and
sports.
Netflix, right?
Netflix, yeah.
Netflix. Awesome. Okay, I'll go next because I don't have much. Because I've now that I can churn out dumbass videos of us. It's way more fun to make than it is to watch at the moment.
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. Fuck.
that's everywhere.
So much
It
fun.
is. And Julia Fox's response to it was like,
She
I was so
high.
high.
I saw that. She said she was high.
I'm sorry.
So-
As a veteran of the world,
of highness.
that I don't change words when I talk. I do that sober because I'm an idiot. Like I can accredit that to my personality.
You know who she reminded me of in that clip is, what's her name? Busy
Busy
Phillips.
Busy Phillips.
I agree. It's
Yes.
Her
it was
character
lips and her,
on Cougar Town
Cougar Town. Yeah.
was totally like that.
Yeah.
It's Cougar
Cougar Belt.
it's Cougar cul-de-sac actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was totally her like Uncle John.
Uncle
Oh my God.
But like I loved it. Like if guys go check out her TikTok. We did
it
the
was pretty
Julia
funny.
Fox thing. It was funny.
It was
There's a
fun.
third one coming. If it hasn't been up already, it will be up. by
And
the
she's
time
single
this-
again.
Yeah, good for her. Good. She can be someone else's muse. Who's going to be the next?
Yeah.
Right. Who's
Yeez
gonna-
needs new muse now.
Well,
She
Yee.
hurts my head when she talks.
Right. And like, what is a muse? Thanks, Spotify. Way to go. I mean, don't take us off your channel for shit talking, but whatever. Okay, so what did I watch this week? I've been getting into animation. So my nighttime before bed to fall asleep stuff has been the Godzilla animated series on Netflix.
Oh.
And the Zeus Blood and Water series on Netflix.
Oh.
Like I've been falling down an animation hole.
That's not what I predicted.
What did you think?
When you said animation, I thought you were going to say arcane.
You know, yeah, no, that, and then there's also the
Arcane's good.
Vox Populi or Vox something on Amazon is showing up on my search history now because I've been looking at animation. Either way, I've really started to. They're very fun stories. Like if you want offshoots from Godzilla, they use the Mecha Godzilla in their storylines. In the Godzilla series, the story is that after Godzilla first created Havoc, he stuck around and then they went off planet, and they've been off planet for like 20,000 years in a self-sustaining ship, and they decide to go back. Well, Godzilla's now made off like different things have breeded in Godzilla form.
Ooh.
So you have like Godzilla birds, and you have like Godzilla deer, and like you have different creatures who are weaker than Godzilla, but by the nuclear exposure to Godzilla, he basically has made the whole planet like a giant.
Kaiju'd the place up.
He's kaiju'd the place up. So they come back, try to repopulate the Earth. That's the whole Godzilla series, and it's a lot of fun because it's stories that you wouldn't like. It's off. I'm learning that the stuff that exists in the universes that's not by the major studios can be a lot of fun. Like trusting the Netflix algorithm instead of like, nope, I want to go to Tick Tick Boom because it's an Oscar-nominated film.
Oh, do you do the like surprise me thing? The like watch something button, a randomizer on Netflix?
I don't have that much trust yet.
Good luck.
I-
The anxiety of that for me is just too much. I'm like,
I
"Don't
did it
do
once,
Was
Yeah?
it good?
and it sent me to Superstore, that comedy
Oh,
sitcom,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I watched 8 seasons of it.
So it worked.
Yeah, it sucked me in.
Me and you have like minds because I think when I tried it, it landed me on Superstore. Now that might have been because the day that it launched was the day we both pushed the
Superstore's
button.
terrible.
Yeah.
It's not that
funny.
bad.
Mine took me to Seinfeld, which was great, and I watched the episode,
It's-
but I've seen it a million
It's
times.
okay. It's okay, but I mean, I didn't think it was like. And I mean, I like anything that makes fun of retail because I worked retail for like a
Yeah,
decade
you
and
get
a
it.
half.
Yeah.
I get it, but I don't think it was edgy enough to be as funny as it should have been.
It was
It's
procedural
too
network
fucking
television.
PG, man.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I would have liked to have seen that, but more like from the slant of 40-Year-Old Virgin. 40-Year-Old Virgin is
Yeah,
a
okay.
It basically is the it perfectly captures my 10 years of working at fucking Future Shop.
No, I
In a fucking nutshell.
banging light bulbs, acting
Oh,
like an
even
idiot,
with the
watching
fact
shit.
they're all wearing fucking dress pants and khakis and those light blue fucking shirts, I was like, holy fuck, like I don't know.
Wasn't it on network television? Like it wasn't made for Netflix, wasn't it?
No, it was on network TV. It was
Yeah,
on
they
so
bought
that's
it.
NBC
so
or
that's
something.
why it's not dark because it was on at like 7 p.m.
That's
on
why
some-
that's why
yeah.
I didn't really like
Yeah.
it.
Fair
You
enough.
want the like Superstar After Dark, the
Yeah.
HBO.
Yeah, he wants
version of
people
it.
fucking
I
on
want-
bags of Robin Hood flour.
Not
Like,
even
Who
that.
doesn't want that?
Yeah. I don't even
Clean up
necessarily
in aisle
want it. I
6.
wanted a little bit more PG-13, and I want it to be a little bit more anti-corporation than it was.
Okay.
That makes sense because that was a big brand.
It's supposed to be fucking Walmart.
Yeah.
Fucking bash Walmart.
But
like,
Mark McKinney from
He was
Kids
good
in the
in it.
Hall.
He's pretty funny
It's
in it.
just nice to see him, you
Yeah.
know, working. That's awesome. So Blood of Zeus is the other one that I watched, and that's the story of Zeus impregnating another woman and then leaving her on the planet, and that son slowly, like it's Hercules, but Zeus's kid and just a different son, right?
Zeus really is the OG fuckboy. Hey?
He is, man.
Wow.
Like he
Yeah.
was
What a dick.
spreading his lightning bolts
He's
all
making
over.
fucking demigods. Demigods fucking change the world. Don't be hating on him.
I want to call this episode "Making Fucking Demigods" now. It's good too. If
It's
you
better
like,
than dipping fucking Achilles in a fucking pond.
You couldn't have just like let him go for a second, then grab back on.
I don't know. That's what I thought too. No, because you had to have an Achilles heel.
Blood of Zeus is. I think it might be close to the same animation house that does all of these. Like it looks like Netflix has like a 3 or 4 that they pick from. I like them. If you want something that's not,
They just type a plot and character description into an AI, and the AI just spits it out.
Yeah, I don't think you're right. It's probably not even humans anymore over there.
Like one of those things, like I've made the AI watch 1,000 hours of whatever, and here's the script. except
Yes.
For, yeah.
And then like the
blah, 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 blah.
yeah, and it just like it loses itself halfway
Yeah.
through. So yeah, that's really like Australian Survivors in there too because they've got Sandra from American
Oh,
Survivor.
really?
Yeah, I meant to tell you this. So she's
Is
on.
she playing or
she's
is
playing?
she? Ooh.
And it's yeah.
She's hardcore.
Go get a drink of water. But it's blood versus water. So
I didn't
versus-
realize
Oh.
we were slumming enough to talk about Survivor.
Okay, you know what? We.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna start
happened
talking
to
about
us
Real
talking-
Housewives.
We
too.
were-
Yeah,
What,
dude,
what
no,
happened to
you
us talking
bring
about
it.
one TV show and one movie? It's all
You're right.
been
It's all been
been
TV.
TV.
That's right.
Where the fuck are the movies?
Who watches movies anymore?
I do.
I didn't have a chance to consume a movie
Watching
this
Empire
week.
for the
I'm
first.
That
sure
was-
I
okay,
watched a movie.
the-
I just couldn't think of it.
Well, no,
It counts.
hang on. No, if you want, it's I have rewatches. I don't have anything. I
Well,
don't
tell
have,
us what your rewatch was this
Okay,
weekend. Why?
All right. All right.
Do you hear they're doing
it was
a D&D live action show?
I want to do D&D live action Us, but for some
Oh,
reason
fuck
nobody
yeah.
else is into that.
D&D
I'd be into
Nation.
that.
On,
You just said you have
Although
no
who's
time.
gonna be the dungeon
I
master?
will make fucking time.
Who's gonna be the DM? Yeah, you're gonna DM.
All right.
I really
let
wanna
me
DM.
let me
All
let me
right.
bury
All right.
mine here so we can get on
Yeah.
to Rob. I watched Trainspotting 2 again.
Oh.
Oh, that's a gooder.
Have you?
I like it when they make up and then they decide to get a whole bunch of cocaine and bro out. It's so funny.
I haven't seen Trainspotting 2.
It's everything Trainspotting 1 is, but
Yeah.
30 years later or 20 years later, actually. The story revolves around Ewan McGregor's character coming back after he takes off on the drug deal, and you think he's got his shit put together, but really he's 20 years later, but still in the same spot. And
and how he and Johnny Lee Miller's character, are, like Sick Boy, are still just fucking besties.
yeah, like even though they're angry at each other, but everybody's involved in it, right? So
And then there's a love triangle.
there is a love triangle. I don't want to play you. I just want the character. No, we're gonna get sued.
Maybe you should just turn the volume down on your phone so that way if you accidentally hit a
Mute that
button,
shit.
no volume comes out.
It's fun because there's this moment where Chu's life is done all over again, and it's done in a very modern way. That's I think my favorite scene in the whole movie because instead of like don't choose drugs, which is what they explain. They explain that choose the funny things in the first one was part of a drug campaign in the 80s that failed. So they thought it would be funny if
What's
you...
Carlisle's character's name again? Is it Big B?
Beg B. Beg B.
Beg B.
He's
He's
fun.
a fucking
Yeah,
sociopath and a half.
He's in prison, and he's like, "Okay, for me to get out of prison, you have to stab me in the gut." And the guy stabs him like in and out the other side of his back. So he gets out of prison, goes back to robbing. Like everybody just reverts back to their original form.
Yeah, and he's trying to get his like son to come and like become like
wants to go
"Hey,
to culinary
Daddy."
school, and he's like, "Come help me B&E all night
he's
long."
like, "Let me teach you how to fucking be a real
Oh
criminal."
boy, yeah, come on, let's go. Fuck no, it's fun to see them all. It's nowhere near as good as the first one because the first one is so shocking, right? Like it's a conversation.
Well, the
about
first one
drugs
was
and-
revolutionary.
Oh, Danny
Boyle.
Danny Boyle, thank you. I just love that he revisited it again, and it will always. I love Train Spotting.
Irvin Welsh.
It's just it's one of the contemporary masterpieces from my time.
I just
here on
think of that
planet
Iggy
Earth.
Pop song in my mind.
Lust for life. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, he's still kicking too, surprisingly. So, anyways, yeah, there's my TV, there's my movie. All right, you got what you wanted. Give us what'd you do?
Okay, so really quickly, I also watched Inventing Anna this week with my wife.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I liked about it the most is how easily tricked rich people are because they feel they're fucking stupid and they
I have
feel
a
like
question about that. Yeah,
they
I gotta-
want
yeah.
they want to be part of whoever's cool, and I just loved how this woman was able to manipulate these people, and I actually don't feel bad at all that they all got fucked over. Part of me basically goes, good, fuck you, you rich fuckers. You deserve it on some weird level, and I know that that's not a good thing to feel, but that's just how I feel.
From what I can tell so far, I'm not even sure that like fuck over. I mean, I am not done, but I'm not even sure that fuck over is the right thing. Like, I feel like she is kind of taking advantage, but only to the extent that that the advantage is being offered.
Correct.
Yeah,
It's
so
like I
don't think she's stealing or anything like that. She's just misrepresenting who she is. But like, who cares? Everyone does that.
Yeah, but it just shows how people are just willing to like give everything because they want to be part of like some new in thing,
Absolutely.
right? And you've got like that guy who's the lawyer, and he's just thinking to himself, I'm gonna make all this money, and really, he's being blinded by a big payout and not seeing, what's actually going on,
Yeah.
right? So yeah,
The actual woman just got out of jail, right?
Oh, really?
Anna
Yeah, she just
Sorkin?
got released.
I've been
Yeah.
specifically not looking it up because I don't want to know how the story ends in
Oh.
real life. So.
I mean, the last episode. I'm not gonna ruin anything for you, but yeah. And then so that's the TV show I watched this week. And as far as movies go, I watched 2 movies this week. I watched Jurassic Park the original with my daughter because she goes, she's really into dinosaurs and she knows what Jurassic Park is. And I was like, are you sure you want to watch this? And she was like, yeah. And so we started watching it, and I wanted to gauge if she was freaked out, and she wasn't. Like, when like the Tyrannosaurus Rex like attacks like the
Like in the
Jeep,
toilet- in the toilet?
the Jeep, and it's like pushing down the glass, and the kids are like underneath. She's going, stop, T-Rex, stop doing that to
Cute.
the car. So she wasn't like freaked out. She was just like into it, and she like loves velociraptors and T-Rex. So
Smart kid.
yeah, she was really into it. And then I watched a movie 2 nights ago called The Colony. It's on Netflix.
Oh, I saw that. That was
It was. I mean, I love those post-apocalyptic sci-fi movies where humans flee and then come back, and
So
then
does Netflix.
yeah.
I
What did you think of the twist?
it was okay. It
Yeah.
was still just okay. It was like a 6.5.
Yeah.
To me, it didn't blow my mind. Yeah.
I thought it was too slow of a slow burn.
It was too slow of a slow
Yeah.
burn. It was like I expected more, and I just needed to see a little bit more of that world. It was too. You
Yeah.
know
It's
what I
like
mean?
one of Bill Paxton's last films.
It's like they needed an extra $5 million to make it just a little bit better.
Yeah, or a bigger ending. Like if you were gonna burn that slow the whole time, then I needed a bigger, bigger
The ending,
expose.
the ending just went.
kinda-
Bum, bum, bum,
Yeah.
bum, bum, bum,
Yeah,
bum.
but it was fun though. Like it was okay.
It needed a peacemaker ending.
Oh no.
Motherfucker, right?
And that's what I saw this week.
That's I love that Lucy just spits in the face of what would normally scare most kids.
That's super cute. Also, if she's got an obsession with dinosaurs now, I'm here to tell you that never goes away. I'm still obsessed with dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
I changed out of my dinosaur sweater just before I came here. I'm not sure why.
She's into 3 things. She's into dinosaurs. She's into unicorns and ponies, and she's into Paw Patrol.
Well, I can't. I can't speak to Paw Patrol because that wasn't around when I was a kid. But dinosaurs, lifelong obsession. All day.
Who doesn't like unicorns, really?
My kids are obsessed with unicorns.
Giant zit made out of calcium. That's what I see a unicorn. I see them being a nuisance. Fucking horrible things. No, I'm just being the disagreeing asshole at the table.
Giant zit with what?
I didn't want to be.
The horn.
Who doesn't love unicorns? I love you.
It's not made out of calcium, though.
Can you mark this?
Mark it.
A horn would be made out of
Unicorn
keratin.
zits.
Same thing as your fingernails.
the whatever. This doesn't matter. Moving on. All right, so that's
Your analogy sucks.
Yeah, they always do. There's your weekly watch list for you, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, check it out. Let us know if you watch anything. Get at us, Real Debaters Podcast on Instagram, and you can tag what you've watched with any of these lovely people.
Always looking for a good hidden gem.
Hidden
Hidden Toms.
Hidden gems.
How long you been waiting to make that?
Hidden Toms.
Anyway, so
Could be a new segment on the show.
At no point in your rambling did you make any coherent things. Everyone in this room is now stupider for having.
We'll call that segment Hidden Jobs from now. Anyways, yeah. So as mentioned, a bunch of real talks for you this week, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get into it. First one is documentaries are my way of staying educated because I don't read as much as I probably should, and if I do, it's on my screen, not in a book. And if it is a book, it's on a screen.
Perfectly biased documentaries, great way to educate yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying
That's
that.
an inconvenient truth.
Yeah, that isn't. Fuck. How many you bring?
Greenland will melt. I promise you.
So I thought, wouldn't it be fun if, like, when you see a documentary, like that should be an actual movie. Like if they moviefied a documentary,
Like The Matrix.
like, sure, yeah,
Best documentary ever made.
fair enough. No, but like a true story. So like in my head, like my
Documentary is called Facebook. It's ongoing.
Yeah.
Ongoing manipulation of the human populace.
Technically, if you put all that footage together and put a soundtrack behind it, that's okay. I originally thought
Black leather plus techno equals awesome.
I originally thought that Killer Fish would be great, which is the story of the killer whale documentary.
Isn't that
Blackfish, sorry.
Blackfish.
Blackfish. That's it.
I'm like, is that the documentary about Blackfish?
My analogies.
Would it be a horror movie like
And
where
my
like
titles
Blackfish goes
today.
wrong and like eats like the executives that run SeaWorld?
But it comes in a tornado. Like that's
Ooh, like
yeah.
Sharknado,
Like
but
shark-
with
yeah,
killer
easy.
whales.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
just-
yeah, I'm into it.
Just
Yeah,
trying to deflect from
you
calling this whole thing.
You lost me.
But okay, what I came to was
That's
if
where
you
it
guys
got me. I'm like, ooh,
Killer Fish.
in a tornado.
An Orcanado.
I thought I'll start this off.
That sounds like a brain aneurysm of sorts.
I thought. Have you guys seen Exit Through the Gift Shop?
No.
I have not.
Banksy mockumentary
Yes.
/ documentary?
Yes. So, okay, a preface for you. Banksy the artist. Somebody wanted to.
Who's that?
He's a.
Nobody knows.
This is a very pun-heavy side of the room, Emily. We're behind a minute here. These guys are.
He's Kaiser Sose's roommate.
Well, hey, Vay. I
go from a walk to a limp to a walk.
I've loved this documentary since the very first minute I saw it. It's Oscar nominated. To give you guys preface on it, and anybody listening, it's a guy who learns about Banksy and then wants to make a documentary about him, and then ends up wanting to do his own show, his own art show, just like Banksy. And there's a minute in the documentary where you realize that Teddy, the guy who's wanting to be a Banksy-like character, can't be like he can't do this. Like he's just not good enough to put on this level of show. So the question at the end of the documentary is that the art that he uses in the documentary is it Banksy's, and Banksy's is pulling a joke on everybody because Banksy thinks the art world is too pretentious and doesn't give a shit like when someone takes one of his paintings. Prime example, he puts a frame in he puts a picture in a frame and it goes to an art show.
Oh,
And
that's amazing.
as they sell the painting,
Oh, right.
the shredder kicks on and shreds the painting and pulls it up. That's his fuck you to the art world. So I think the documentary about him playing a prank on everybody would be a really fun movie, like as a feature to watch, because it's got all the workings of like a whodunit. You could cast multiple actors to be Banksy, and like like the last Heath Ledger movie that he did, where there was help me out here,
The Imaginarium.
the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, where because Heath Ledger died, Johnny Depp and Colin Farrell and Jude Law filled in as they changed the story. So I think it'd be really funny to like have famous English actors pop in and out, female, male, doesn't matter. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like anybody can be Banksy. Like fucking Emma Thompson can be Banksy. Like it doesn't matter. So that's a story that is from real life, because normally you want the documentary is always as true to form as possible. But what happens if you fictionize the documentary?
Truth is stranger than fiction.
They do that
what I mean?
sort of with, I don't know if you're down with electronic music, but Marshmello.
Campfire.
Do you know who it is?
No.
Okay. He's a DJ, and his head is basically looks like a marshmallow with two X'd
Oh,
out
yeah.
eyes.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Now
yeah.
I know who he is.
Now, Marshmello keeps making appearances at different shows, but then takes the mask off, and it's a different celebrity, so it's not really Marshmello, so nobody knows who Marshmello is.
Very much so.
Love it.
That's
It's kind of cool. They do it like, oh, Tom Holland is Marshmello, but it's it's neat.
I dig it.
Neat.
I
Yeah.
dig it.
So
anyways,
we're all Marshmello,
it would be-
and we're all Banksy.
yeah.
I do feel particularly Banksy-ish today. Yeah.
I just think the brilliance in his art is it's always got a comment on something that's going on, right? And like to be able to put the art into the film, like you can get super.
You don't
fucking
think he's
meta with it.
pretentious and he just does this to overinflate the perception of how great he is, to overinflate the price that he can command for the said art?
You know what? There is you could question that, and I do see that. I choose to believe. I mean that's the obvious.
Shouldn't
answer, but
making the art just be enough, and that the anyway?
well, no. The joke is always that the art has to be attached to the name because that amplifies the price of the art, right? If it's a Van Gogh versus not being a Van Gogh, so him.
Yeah, but Van Goghs were only worth lots after he died.
Well, yeah, this is the thing: is that Banksy is unconfirmed.
Correct.
So practically dead.
Do you think he's AI?
No,
I'm just kidding.
I want him. I believe there's a team. I believe there's.
Oh, it's multiple people.
It's multiple
Yeah.
people doing heavy lifting at different points, and maybe the Banksy's dead. Maybe it's like.
You think it's multiple people?
I do.
I
think
do.
so,
I don't
yeah.
think one person could do this whole thing.
Well, like
You really think that multiple people could have contained this perpetuation that nobody knows
a
who
small
it is?
group of
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
people.
I think it's 10 or less. I think there's a press agent. I think there's a publicist. I think there are 3 or 4 people who are, because you got to fly, you've got to do stuff. If you're putting stuff together, like who knows if he's even there when he's setting up, like when he did
I
his
think
LA
I think it's
show?
less than 4.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot of work then.
For sure, but to keep a secret like this tight, I think once you go up to 10
yeah.
people or more, I think you're gonna lose it.
Yeah, the only way 2 people keep a secret is one of them is dead.
What's that from again?
I don't know, the world. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've heard the 3 people can keep a secret when 2 are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my last week.
Once bitten, twice shy. Okay, Emily, what about you? What's a documentary that you've watched that you wouldn't mind seeing a fictionalized story on?
Okay, so this is ridiculous, but there's one documentary.
This whole
that-
show is
That
ridiculous.
stands out in my head, and I've gone back to this documentary so many times, and I just love the story of it, and I would totally watch a fictionalized version. Do you remember the documentary The King of Kong?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know The King of Kong, it is the story of just a middle-aged suburban dad who has King Kong, like the arcade game, in his garage. And
I know this one.
and he
Yes,
thinks-
yes.
And he beats the high
Yes.
score, and then the high score
my
is
God, this
the
is
high.
brilliant.
Yeah, the world high score is held by this like super douchey like video game
Billy
guy.
something?
Yeah, Billy something.
Yeah.
He
or
wears like
other.
a trench coat or a
Sells-
cape or
and he's
something.
got, and he's got
barbecue
like
sauce.
yeah, and he's got long hair. He looks like comic book guy, but like skinnier.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so
100%.
then this like unassuming suburban dad is like, oh, I'm really good at this game. He's like, I might be able to get the high score. So he like gets all of his like gumption together and like goes to the place to like get this high score, and he beats this Billy guy. And this Billy guy just has like a fucking meltdown. And so then he like
Wasn't the Billy like a world champion?
Yeah, he's a
champion
world
from the early
champion.
'80s or something.
Yes.
and
yeah.
He peaked early.
So then this Billy guy sends in a video of him beating this suburban dad guy's high score, but and what you're allowed to do, and he kind of leverages his position as like the long-standing champion to like submit the video this way, so it's not live. but there's all this consideration: is the video cut, and is it real, and does it actually? And then the dad is starting to get like shaken down by people in the like video game industry. I don't know. The whole thing is fucking wild.
Black vans parked
In the
outside
video
his house.
arcade
The
industry.
video arcade industry, right?
Yeah.
And like
8-bit or nothing.
and all this
Security systems are intense.
all this dad wants is to like be good at this game, and his kids are just like, Dad, I pooped, I need help, and he's like, I'll be right there, I'm just about to beat it. And the whole thing
It's
is
all on camera.
It's so wild. Anyway, it's such a fun documentary, and I think that you could take the absolute hilarity and absurdity of that storyline, and you could make it into such a compelling movie, and I would
really
love it.
could.
Yeah, I would love it. And like you could do so much about like you could get really nuts with like sort of burn after reading style, like how high up the conspiracy goes, even though it's not really a conspiracy, you know? I think really
I think you could do
it could
almost
be
like
done so
a
well.
grandma's boy kind of take on it. Like, you know, with grandma's boy, they kind of have like,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
I could see some aspects of that playing into that.
Well, okay, because to Emily's point, it is all about having the high score, having a grandma's boy. Like, they got a high score. Did I break it? What did I do?
High score is
that
what does
good?
that mean?
Is that
What
good?
does that mean? Is that good? Is that good?
You're right. Like in a video game format like
Yeah.
that, that'd be
Well, because you know how there's the villain in that who's like the guy that like designed the video game.
later turd nuggets.
Yeah.
that's exactly it. And like
How does he see me?
and just how completely absurd it is that it's like these fully grown adult men who should care about ostensibly anything else as well, like
Yes.
not
And they're
instead
having a
of
squabble
but
about
just as
this?
well, yeah. But like the biggest thing in their life is who has the highest score on this video game, and it's so excellent. And so yeah,
Is there a
absolutely.
limitation or something in that game too, where it can only go up to a certain level?
Yeah,
Or is
and then
that-
it
was that
starts to
Pac-Man?
zero out, or
That's
yeah,
what it
and then
is.
it
Okay,
zeroes
yeah.
out.
Because there's
Yeah.
like a limit of RAM or something
Yeah.
on the boards.
It just resets the game, goes back
Yeah.
to 0, and that's your completion screen.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
they come
that's
over and they
it.
take
And
a
then
picture, and then
Can you
they-
imagine and then you get this like little band of kids from like the arcade who like all band together to help like take down this Billy guy because he's like a total dick. Like the movie could go in so many great ways,
Yeah.
and then it's all centers around this suburban middle-aged dad who you really just want to see him succeed because his life is so sad otherwise.
Kevin James.
Kevin James would
Kevin
totally
James,
play him.
yes. Oh my God, yeah.
And Kevin Spacey comes back. That's Kevin Spacey's comeback movie.
Oh,
You know who I'm thinking? I'm thinking Colin Farrell's horrible boss's character for Billy.
Oh yeah, and then give him like the long greasy hair.
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Oh,
he has
God.
bad teeth.
Yeah, horrible, like a bear trap.
There's so much you could do with it.
That's such a great idea. Fuck, have you guys seen King of Kong? Like,
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
such a. That's one of those documentaries that you trip over, and I think I watched the guys who think they're superheroes, and then I watched this movie.
Yes.
Like I was on like a real like community level documentary streak for
So
a minute,
good.
and this is that. Oh my God, that's such a great call. Okay, Rob.
Oh man, I just thought of Community, and I love that show.
It's such a good show.
Are you gonna send me a clip on the way home again?
Maybe. So mine is you guys have all seen The Social Dilemma.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh.
And I mean, if any, all of our listeners out there, if you've not seen this documentary, it's from 2017 or 2018. You need to see it. Everyone needs to see it. It really sheds light on how fucked up social media is and Google is and that whole side of the internet. But I think that could
My
make
favorite rabbit hole.
I know. We could talk about this for hours. But I think that would make the great premise for a movie. And I mean, it has in certain aspects already, but to really have something that would be some type of story where, maybe you have some kind of engineer and he, sees kind of the dark side of it and those, but actually really tackling more specific things where it's been talked about before. Like there was a movie with Ryan Phillippe that talked about it. And,
yeah.
And Chris.
Oh God, we used to watch that movie all the time. when we were
Yeah,
a
I
kid.
can't remember the name of it right now. It has
Chris
Claire Forlani
I'll
in it.
think
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
It has Tim Robbins in it.
Yep.
And
Antitrust.
That's
Antitrust.
it.
So doing something kind of like that, but with a more modern twist, and maybe not Ryan Phillippe.
Wasn't there one with Emma Watson? Wasn't it like The Circle?
There was. The
or
Circle was
something
another
like
one
that?
with
Yeah,
Tom Hanks in
That
it.
one was really.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
did a good job. That was dark.
So I'd like to see something more of that slant.
Have
and
you
then
listened to The Rabbit Hole? Yeah. podcast?
No, I haven't actually.
Hand in hand.
Oh,
You're gonna cream yourself for the Rabbit Hole podcast. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's basically the radicalization of somebody from the start to the fucking YouTube algorithm completely radicalizing them.
oh, sweet.
And it's fucking real. Like
is
that would
real.
make an
Yeah.
amazing movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think just something around that slant, and I just wanted to leave it there,
Oh, that's
kind of
awesome.
open
That's
to just
amazing,
people
yeah.
to let it simmer and percolate with.
I'd
people.
buy my ticket right now.
I would watch everything
I
in
still
that vein.
think Emily's is better than mine though, and I just
I think
wanna throw
Emily's
that
is
out.
better than mine too. Like,
Well, dude, obviously,
hey, hey,
I don't even remember what yours was.
fucking Banksy, exit through the gift shop.
Oh yeah, that's
You guys
right.
are picking some of my favorite documentaries.
Everybody's
though.
gonna leave this episode
100%.
being like calling up the people who made King of Kong, being like, "Man, we need this movie."
You guys have honestly
Get
picked some of
out,
my
Emily.
favorite documentaries.
You guys can send in your money for these pitches. We will sell them accordingly.
Absolutely.
They're NFTs now. They'll live in infamy on the internet. What's yours, Mark?
I'm going fucking all out. Celebrity cameos abound. Massive fucking Fire Festival. The motion.
You know what? In that Inventing Anna, they actually talk. They actually make a reference to the Fire Festival in it.
Nice.
We are doing Fire Festival, the full-on
Oh.
motion. More cameos than a fucking Avengers film.
That sounds
More
amazing.
cameos in a season of Entourage.
Who was the rapper that was involved with it again?
Ja Rule.
Ja
Ja
Rule. Who
Rule.
plays Ja Rule? Does he play himself?
Well, obviously.
Well, he's got to make.
He's gonna
gotta
have
pay,
to
He
at
has to
this
pay.
point,
He has to pay
yeah.
his restitution somehow.
What's his face from SNL who we went and saw do stand-up comedy? Oh, he's coming back. Jay Farrow. Jay Farrow as
Oh, he should do
as
Ja
Rule.
Rule. He's a little too tall, but he could do it.
You could shoot it. Like, you could just bring
Yeah,
him
yeah,
down. But
yeah.
Jay Farrow's Ja Rule.
I think that would
oh,
make such an
perfect.
amazing story. That dude is so fucking weird, and the people that bought on to that.
Yeah.
And then you have the planning part is fucking amazing, right? But then you actually get the festival itself where people are fucking showing up and how desolate it is, and you could really play that up. Like, that would
Be my
just be-
tents.
Exactly.
Be my tents.
I love stories about grifters that rip off rich people.
really is a theme here. Hey,
There
we
is
like
a theme.
Yeah.
Have you
no,
watched the
dirty-
Tinder Swindler yet?
Oh my
yes,
God,
I
that
have.
was
Yes,
so
I have.
fun.
So good too.
Well, I was talking about this. Archive 81 is based off of a podcast. The Tinder Swindler is based off of a podcast. Dr.
Is it
Death
based-
is based off of a podcast.
Tinder
like,
Swindler's based off of an article that was written, wasn't
there's
it?
there's
oh, and
a,
a
there's,
podcast?
there's a like they're all the stretching that they're doing with audio dramas. They're throwing on and going like, let's make a documentary about it or make
Yeah.
a story about it, because some of these ideas are really good.
but isn't Tinder
is-
Swindler just like actually based off of a true story?
Yeah,
yes,
it-
no,
it-
that's what,
yeah.
That guy is
I'm not-
also
yeah.
He's around.
a real
still.
person.
He's running around
Yeah.
in the real world right now. And also, if anyone's listening to this, I need $100,000 to get away from my enemies. So please send that to me. My enemies are
No,
after me.
it is
I'll
a real
also
story
just
in that,
accept
yeah.
a
Yeah.
Amex card.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Two thoughts.
Dogecoin.
Two thoughts
Doge-
before I lose them, since I have the mic. Have you seen? You're talking about podcast thing. Did you see Only Murders in the Building?
Yes. Oh my God,
Yes.
that was one of my have we watched
Yes.
this week. A few
So
weeks ago.
fucking good.
So good.
And then another thing, just on the podcast, the last season, new season of Dexter.
Not yet.
Did you watch it?
No.
So just not to ruin anything, but there's a podcast featured in it because there's a girl that becomes involved in it that has a podcast, and her podcast has the most fucking amazing name that I wish I thought of. It's a true crime podcast, but it's called Mary, like Merry. Mary fucking Kill. So a twist on Mary fucking
Nice.
Kill. Mary fucking Kill. It's such a good name.
That's awesome.
So I don't know how I want it.
Can you rebrand us, please, person?
Mary fucking Kill.
That's such a solid. That's the name. That's
Such a good name.
Oh,
That needs to be a
God.
real podcast
But it's
name.
Merry.
Yeah. So it's Mary fucking Kill.
Mary fucking kill.
It changes the whole idea.
Anyway, so Fire Festival motion picture coming.
that's a good one.
I guarantee you launching summer of 2023. If you want to buy your tickets
Get in
now.
line. Yeah.
there's a VIP package that you can buy.
Yes.
You know what you should do? If you were to, here's the best marketing plan on the planet. When that movie gets made, everybody gets a styrofoam container of what they
Oh,
ate
well, like
on
with
the
like a
island.
cheese, like the cheese
the
sandwich. or
cheese
whatever.
sandwich that they get to eat while they watch the movie.
No, the
And, like,
idea, Mike, is you sell everybody that this movie's getting made, and then you don't. So you imitate. It's art imitating life, imitating art.
It's like 8.5.
That's
Love it.
amazing. That's amazing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can go online. You can vote and review at Podchaser.
You know what's gonna be the best scene in that movie when they're filming when they hire all the model, use up all the model
On the beach there?
money to like film the promo video. That's gonna be an awesome scene in that movie.
Vote for these 4 on Podchaser.
With Rihanna and the Kardashians.
RealDebaters.ca. Go to the website, and you can start reviewing this shit if you
Obviously,
want.
it's King of Kong.
Yeah, obviously. The
I
room.
feel like Fire Festival.
Fire Fest is really
like-
good too, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. All right. So next one was
Actually, everybody on the comment section, vote whose was the worst.
yeah. You can just put my initials. It's fine. We don't have to spell it out. for
Everybody blew my mind on this one. This was a good segment.
Yeah. It's made me forget a documentary that it just captures your heart. And
I
it's
totally
one that-
forgot about King of
I
Kong.
fucking love documentaries.
And I'm looking
Right?
I'm looking at the picture of the guy that's in it.
We don't talk
like
about
those
it enough.
early 80s video game docs
Yeah.
are fucking amazing. Speed Cubers.
Like guys, look at
was another
look
one
at
that was
Billy.
amazing.
Look at Billy!
Look at Billy.
Speed Cubers is so much fun to watch.
Right, like that was
Yeah.
another one that I loved the doc, and I like to see a movie of it. That's a little more heartwarming though, but
Either way, you can turn a lot like King of Kong is a heartwarming story. Fire Festival's a heartwarming story if you look at what people will do for water and how much they'll sacrifice. I mean, there's a lesson to be learned there.
we could combine that with Rob's like love of post-apocalyptic times, and
It
that's-
kind of you could make it in a post-apocalyptic.
it's like the
vein
fucking
and
Terror Dome.
get Tina Turner to come and introduce the whole thing. Okay, next on the list, next on the docket, you can mark
I
this one
already
down.
did.
Oh, you're the best.
Yeah.
So, Charles a little slow on those.
On the
Charles,
uptake.
You know.
he's a
But
little slow.
that's also because Charles smokes like a lot before he starts
That's
the podcast.
just very true.
We all
Yeah.
have our strengths. Mine just happens to be hitting the M button on this.
We should get one of those things that just
Like
birds
from
with the
Homer.
the
water.
bird, like from the Simpsons episode where Homer gets super fat. He's like, "I left you in charge." Like the bird falls over.
Rob, we'll start with you on this one because we were talking about it beforehand.
Which
So
one are
this-
we talking-
we're doing
what are we on?
Battle scenes.
Oh, the battle scenes, okay.
So a battle scene can make or break a film because it's probably one of the most expensive aspects of. This can also be from TV as well too. It can make or break a scene. There where a lot of work and detail goes into, and they can incite a lot of emotion. They're designed to be an action beat in a film. So, what are
This is-
some of the most epic ones in your opinion, or the most epic?
This one was really, really fucking hard for me
I
because
knew it would be.
there's different facets, right? Like are you talking about like the large scale, total fucking battle like scene where it's like Omaha Beach Day D-Day? Is it fucking like is it like Braveheart, like the Battle of Sterling, where they're throwing up spikes at the pikes at the last minute, and the horses are just like
Good Lord, tells me
ricocheting
you
off
get
of
me out
them,
of this situation.
or is it like Two Towers, the Battle of Helm's Deep kind of style, right? And I mean those are three of those epic ones that pop in mind. But if I was really thinking about a battle scene that I just love and it just resonates with me to this day, and I think part of it is because it just has a unique soundtrack to it that is just, when you hear it, it's amazing, and it's really the only good thing about this entire movie, except for Sabula, is the final battle scene where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are basically battling Darth Maul.
Yep.
Yeah.
Holy fuck!
Yep.
And
The
it's
soundtrack
like I
alone.
waited 20 years to sit through that shitty fucking movie, and then to basically see Darth Maul go, like have his lightsaber and be fucking going at it, and then stop, and then the other
other
end
one
comes
comes
out,
out.
and you're just like, what
I
the
know.
fuck just happened? Oh my god!
Good Lord.
And it's like fucking 3:30 in the fucking morning. I'm like fucking exhausted.
standing in line
And,
all day.
stand
like-
in line all day,
Hanging out,
and
so-
like
same
fucking
until Silver
hanging
City.
out, and to just see that, and it was just so fucking epic, right? And that is still one of my favorite battle scenes of all time.
It
It's
that
really
that
Yeah.
where the second
Oh.
blade kicks in
The
was such
yeah.
a because you were like, they can be two blades. How did we not figure this out at all throughout everything that spun off
Yeah.
from the original three? You mean nobody ever had a lightsaber with two blades on it? Wow.
Well, they did, but
Well, yeah.
before the
yeah,
trilogy.
before
Yeah.
yeah, true. Yeah.
I just want to say one other honorable mention, really
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, yeah.
And that is I mean, who here's seen The Matrix? Everybody, right?
Everybody. Yes.
Not me.
That's
Yeah, I can smell bait on that.
So I mean, The Matrix is still one of those movies that it's a foundation in the timeline of filmmaking, right? And that scene where they go into the building to basically rescue Morpheus, and
Like the
and
gun.
he walks through the metal detector, and the security guard goes, "Can you please remove any metal objects?" And he opens up his coat, and he's like, "Holy shit!" And then it just
whole
like
shootout.
like
yeah.
that whole insane fucking crazy shootout scene is awesome. And then it stops at the end, and then there's that piece of the fucking wall that just goes, and it's just perfect, right? That is just it's an epic thing that's in my mind all the time, and I've probably seen that scene 150 times.
It
maybe
causes
more.
a
Lives
feeling.
rent free in your brain.
It causes a feeling, right? Does it excite you? Does it make your heart rate?
I've
faster,
seen
right?
that
Like,
so
does
many
it-
times, not just because I love watching it, because I used to use it to sell speakers when I fucking sold speakers and audio systems.
Somebody said something about 40-year-old virgin. I think
Yeah.
that
There you
might have played into that.
Anyway.
Mark,
I can't believe you didn't go Lord of the Rings like full bore.
I gave it. I
Fucking
put this
five
one out
armies.
before that.
I wanted to, but I wanted to get really specific about something like that,
Okay.
and that's why dude, Lord of the Rings is fucking awesome. The Battle of Helm's Deep is so good. When Gimli and fucking Legolas are like doing a tally
the
who's killed the
counting.
That
most.
doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Yeah. Anyway, go on. I'm interrupting.
It's funny that you bring up Legolas. I got to talk about that after.
Oh, okay. Good.
Mine's fucking so obvious. Endgame. That to me is such an amazing
Are we all
battle.
Probably the only one that's ever made me cry.
It's
like
so much
I
fan
actually
ser-
cried.
Like, yeah. Like and there's specific parts of it that are obviously way like the entire battle's amazing.
It's 25, almost 30 minutes.
It's like Marvel's giving every fan a reach around.
So
yeah,
the
100%.
The two scenes
just
for
a
me,
giant circle jerk.
yeah, are the
Give it to me, Marvel.
like the women Avenger scene is fucking amazing. Where they all kind of like fucking Pepper Potts and fucking every Captain Marvel, like everybody's
Valkyrie.
coming out like
Both
it's
Valkyrie,
fucking amazing, right? That and the On Your Left is fucking when Falcon appears.
My heart
right?
just
Oh,
three sizes
when I
bigger.
say I cried, I'm not joking. Like there were tears streaming down my face. Like I was just like, I love it so much.
So like having a battle scene that has so many like real parts, like parts that aren't the battle built into a battle scene. That's the
Yes.
reason that I loved it. It was a movie within a movie. That battle scene.
They went,
Yeah.
we know we owe you something. Stop right here. And we're going to go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like, it changes the pace. It does so many...
It's like, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Here you go.
And you get to see all the different characters like really come to life, and you get to like.
It's like, thank you for reading comic books for 20 years. Here you go.
But it's even the build up to that where Thor and Cap and Iron Man are battling Thanos. And that battle is hard enough that it starts to bleed into the big one, right?
Yeah.
Like you get this little one
And
of
you- and
them
you-
fucking around, and then all of a sudden he picks up the hammer, and then Mjolnir is wielded. And
But
you're-
even that, right? Like, there's a scene where, and I'm gonna get this wrong, but like I think Spidey's almost got the fucking gauntlet off of Thanos, and then Star-Lord is so pissed off that he basically fucks it up for everybody
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
Blasting him.
you know, like it's there's all these like little interplays, and there's this emotion, and it's not just fucking shooting and punching, and it's just it's incredible.
it's a story in a battle as opposed to just a
Yes.
battle.
Yep.
I'll go next.
It's a story of a battle of a story of a battle and a battle.
It's a microcosm
Yeah.
of the larger story.
It's about who we are as a people.
It's multiple micro battles within the larger battle.
So I picked. How many seen The Last Samurai?
I have.
You have.
Yes.
Long time
Long time ago. Yeah.
Okay, well, there's a battle in the.
It's a Tom Cruise movie without him like clinging onto a fighter jet.
It's very uncruised.
Do you just have to pick Tom Cruise movies just to piss me off? Or
Every 3 or 4 we do together, I just lob it in.
Yeah.
Do you not like Tom Cruise?
they're about to put Tom Cruise in the fucking MCU, and it might throw me off.
You know
Which
it's-
which
you know
character
it's-
is he gonna
You
be?
know why? We're going to talk about
An
that.
Iron Man
Yeah.
variant.
So this
Well,
scene,
he almost was Iron Man
the scene in The Last.
Do you know why he
Samurai-
wasn't?
Hey!
because Robert Downey Jr. is the greatest.
Because he wanted to show his face the whole time. He didn't want to wear a helmet. The piece of shit. Anyways,
Have you ever seen a picture
Tell
of
us how you
him
really
and
feel.
Anthony Edwards today? And they'll show the two of them in Top Gun, and then it'll show the two of them today, and you're like, wow, Tom Cruise really hasn't aged, and Anthony Edwards looks really bad. And I only
Yeah.
bringing this up because I Googled it. I Googled
After we
him
watched Top-
after watching
Top-
Inventing
yeah.
Anna, because he's in it.
Yeah.
So this is very uncruisy cruise, Mark. Let me see if I can.
Last
charge you
Samurai's
right- Last
uncruisy
Samurai.
cruise?
It's uncruisy cruise. You're introduced to him as a drunk at the beginning of the movie, and he's sent over to Japan to teach the Japanese soldiers how to fight like American soldiers just before World War.
It's like 1890.
Yeah. So 30 years before World War I. Anyways, the last battle scene throughout the whole story, Cruise is captured by the samurai, who are ancient warriors, and learns the way of the samurai. And he realizes the error of his ways and learns about honor and respect and character and all.
his character did.
So I was looking at you, Emily. I can't.
I'm like, yeah.
I can feel the heat.
Does he do auditing during this time?
No, there's
period?
there's no.
That's why he hasn't aged, because he's gone clear. He fucking
Well, no,
doesn't age anymore.
no, he has a blood boy, obviously.
The point of the scene is showcasing that they show up to battle, and the Japanese government have amassed machine guns, turret guns, and they're running in with armor, swords, and horses. And
Running in with a Moor.
amour, love.
Love is in the air.
Yeah, I'm gonna sheath my sword and hug you. But it's this slow ride up the field, and they just get like fired upon, and you just bullet ridden, and they end up being a big pile of them in there.
It's actually the 1870s, so
Thank
it would have
you.
been right after the Civil War. That's why he was there.
Okay, perfect.
I thought you were a decade or two off.
I
Yeah, that's what I
I
thought
felt
too.
like I was too, so appreciate that. It's better you than a fan.
Well,
So-
and at that time, the Americans had the most experience with war because they'd just gone
Yeah.
through the Civil War.
Yes, that's like the first.
Anyway, go
20
on.
minutes of the film.
And that's why he's a drunk, because he probably saw a lot of his bros get killed.
He
R.I.P.
rides into battle and gets mowed down, and then his master gets killed, and it's just him left, and he stands up and just keeps walking. And in a normal situation, you'd mow your last enemy down and walk away, but they feel so bad for what they've done because they've taken out a part of Japanese culture and history, because this is like one of the last remaining samurais. It's the whole purpose of the film. And Cruise ends up with his inaction of just trying to walk up the field, gets all the way to the president, talks to the president, and says, you need to change the error of your ways and all this stuff. And it showcases the honor that the last samurai bestowed upon Cruise to then, carry on. But it's this battle of knowing you're in for certain doom. Like, I like watching a good fight where the good guy wins, but it's also fun to watch where the good guy loses. And the story isn't about winning the fight. The story is about overcoming the battle, right? Epic fucking scene. It's like 30 or 40 horses and just like it's like 300 in samurai essentially. And if you can overlook your cruisiness and just like get involved, it's very beautifully shot. It's shot in Japan. Like the armor, there's a story within a story about him falling in love with a Japanese lady because he killed her husband in battle, and she has to take him in, like it's part of their culture that you take in the man who killed your husband. I never understood why. Point is, it's a battle about honor as opposed to about just kicking some serious fucking ass. But Helm's Deep is my like fucking obliteration battle, right? Like that's just
So much fun. Helm's Deep is so much fun.
it. Just the camera angles and spinning around and getting it from the top and then moving in and getting into the castle and getting out. Like it's just it's a battle that you feel. It's
Also-
a battle you're a part of, not that you're
Yeah.
watching.
Also, remember, it was filmed in 1999. The CGI was done in 2000, and it's still that fucking good.
Yeah, it really.
They locked themselves in an editing room and we're like, we're not
For a
coming out,
huge
so-
battle, it's pretty impressive.
It's
Yeah.
fucking impressive.
Yeah.
On a completely different note, as just a sort of a runner-up for me, and
Yeah,
a complete different style, is the shootout in Heat.
Yes.
Yes.
have you watched that in a really good surround sound?
Yes.
Holy fuck.
It literally goes. I don't know how many rounds.
They had
we talked about that a few weeks
we
ago.
did, and
Yeah.
they went to an SAS, a retired SAS soldier, who came down and helped them show how to move through metropolitan areas, how to fire, how to use suppressive fire, how to use impactful fire, like to use all, like it was like they were a unit being instructed by a commando. That's a fucking epic shootout.
Yeah.
Epic fucking shootout.
You know what's crazy is that real life imitating art is like a few years after that, there was actually guys that robbed a downtown LA bank and actually replicated the same thing with the same type of firepower, and the LA cops were super outgunned, and it was fucking mayhem.
The story, you know what the crazy story is that they robbed the bank. They had fucking full machine guns, full body armor, everything else. The cops were so outgunned that they had
depleted uranium shells too, I think, so they could go through cars and stuff.
They were going to
piercing,
local gun shops, like nearby while the shootout was happening, and just grabbing fucking guns out of the gun shop,
Like grabbing
to go back to the
AR-15s and
battle
shit.
because they had no firepower
Holy
to get these
shit.
guys.
And they couldn't bring SWAT in fast enough.
Yeah, it was crazy. They literally went in and raided like a local gun shop just to get guns to battle back against these guys.
Because
That's
because
awesome.
they basically have Glocks or Berettas, right?
Yeah, you have nothing. You're shotgun in the
That incident basically in law enforcement brought in having the access to larger caliber weapons for that type of an incident. It's insane.
It's kind of like the chicken or the egg conversation, though, right? You have to ask yourself, like, do the cops need that only because regular people have such easy access to that type of caliber gun? But anyway, that's another conversation itself.
It's like everything else. Everything's hindsight too.
Totally.
Emily, close it down.
'Kay.
Favorite battle.
Oh, God. Okay, so I also had a hard
No
time.
rush.
And
Just-
we had the same brain, I think. But I also did Helm's Deep, and I also had what episode? Actually, mine was episode 2 in Star Wars, where the
Fighting all the battle droids?
with the battle droids. The first time I saw,
with
and the first time I
Obi-Wan?
saw
Oh,
a droid,
fuck.
like the first time you see a droid, like Grievous, General Grievous, with
Ah,
with the
with
yeah
his
with
4
the lightsabers.
arms?
Yep. And I was like, a droid. With
Well,
4
first he's
arms
got
with
2, and then the
lightsabers?
other 2
Yeah.
come out. You're just like, oh,
yes.
yeah.
So that was really cool. But I actually, in the end, and I usually land on Star Wars, but I didn't this time. Where I landed was in Kill Bill, where Beatrice is battling the Crazy 88. Yeah.
So amazing.
With the fucking
Crazy
oh,
88. Yeah.
like the fucking chain
With-
and ball.
Yeah, with the
Oh.
chain and the ball, and it goes black and white, and like in and out of color and black and white, and it's just like it's such like hardcore girl power like violence, and it boils down to like 2 like amazingly violent like killer women, and it's just I don't know, it's just so like raw and powerful and like neat. And it's such a good scene, and that's
And
where
she's battling this like clean cut, like little,
like the
almost
schoolgirl.
Japanese kind of girl.
But not
yeah.
until after she kicks the ass of like everybody else, like till she murders every other person
When
ahead of
she
her.
spanks the one boy, where it's like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
go back to your home.
Exactly.
Stop playing with the Yakuza.
yeah,
And that
100%.
draws from like
Battle Royale.
like all the history of those kind of films.
Yeah.
Like it just
Oh.
that was an amazing scene.
Well, and it speaks of Quentin Tarantino loving all those kung fu movies, right?
Yeah.
And just and like to your point, taking from this Sonny Chiba movie and then this one and then this one, and just piecing it all into it together into something that's just awesome.
And the choreography. I was gonna say
Yeah.
it in a weird way. Choreography of that is
Welcome to the club.
just exceptional. It's like a dance. The whole thing,
and the
it-
cinematography to go along with
Yes.
it. Right?
Oh my goodness! And when I watch it,
Fast edits, fast cuts. Yeah.
And I just can't help but think like the work on every single person's part that went into learning how to move in those situations and exactly what to do and when to do it. It's just the whole thing is beautiful. I find myself like, I'm not really a person who's into violence, generally speaking, but I find myself super entranced by that. And I go back to that movie over and over and over again for that scene, which is weird for me because I don't usually love battle scenes.
It's weird though because we talked about earlier is there's violence, but there's a more story built into
Yeah.
the violence.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of subtext
And there's character. Her character, the character of Beatrice, is still developing
Yeah.
in that fight. I don't
100%.
know. It's great.
I also love it when it's like she's seeing red and then the soundtrack goes and you're just like
Also, the best weapon to have in a zombie apocalypse would be the Hattori Hanzo blade.
Hattori Hanzo.
obviously.
Yeah.
Clean and beautiful.
And it doesn't
even-
run out of
It
bullets.
doesn't. No, it goes right through that dead skin.
And with that many
Absolutely.
folds, you barely even have to sharpen that motherfucker.
Yeah, like bone is no problem.
Yeah.
We should make an
Way better than like a mace.
Yeah, but who would use such a fucking idiotic tool to?
It's
flail.
cool. It's cool.
It does
It's
look pretty
cool.
neat.
Yeah, like it looked
It's
great
fucking
in my
cool.
brain. It did not look good when I opened my mouth, though. That's
Yeah.
welcome to our first early editions, lady. Go back to that catalog.
You know what's funny? None of us really talked about any kind of like army, kind of military.
No, we
kind
didn't.
Of
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
It's because it's the default, right? Like
Yeah.
you go battle scene. Well, every military battle, like Saving
I
Private
mean,
Ryan.
mine is still my favorite out of all those is still Saving Private Ryan, that D-Day scene. I think mostly because there's that one scene where that grenade or that bomb drops, and
I
then
know the
and then
one.
all of a sudden goes ching, and it's like somebody has tinnitus. And then and it shows the character in his tinnitus, and then there's a guy, and he like picks up his arm that got blown off, and he's holding
trying to find his. Yeah.
he's holding his blown off arm, and you're just like it just like, yeah.
Well, they shot it. I think he had like 6 or 7 cameramen with handhelds just running out to different scenes and like, okay, I'm done filming here. I'm just going to run over here because something's happening. And they would, and so that's why you have that first person
Oh, that
jagged,
sense
cool.
of urgency.
right? Because it's a guy running through the battle while the battle's actually happening, and he's just filming it.
How much did that scene cost?
That's a $20 million scene.
That's crazy.
It's got to be
Easily.
with the
Easily.
immobilizing even the.
Think about the amount of extras and equipment required in that scene that wasn't CGI'd in after.
alone too with what pieces of machinery you can actually get versus what you're building and mocking up. Like even calling in the military and being like, can I get a bunch of transport ships and anything that's of era that still works, the amount of money it would cost. Like,
Well, you're probably going to find some 1960s, 1970s amphibious vehicles, and then
You can
and
mock
then
up, yeah.
and then you paint them so they look close enough to World War II stuff.
okay.
Dirty little secret from me on that
yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing. I don't like war movies.
I was going to say the same thing. I don't like them either, but I don't know if it's for the same reason. To me, I just don't. I don't like that it's real life, and that if that it actually happened or that it could actually happen, whether it's a true story or not. It doesn't. I don't find enjoyment out of it. It just kind of makes me sad.
War doesn't do it for me for
No.
some reason.
Unless it's in space and with fucking lasers and stuff, then war does it for me. Yeah.
Unless it's sharks with laser beams on their
Sharks.
head.
Exactly.
Like when it's a fucking cloaked bird of prey.
Yeah.
Sign me up!
Then I'm like, fuck yes. But yeah.
It can fire cloaked. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it can. Fuck them up. Fuck
I'm
them up, fuck
surprised
them up.
nobody said their favorite battle scene was what's the simulated battle scene that Kirk has to cheat to win?
Oh, the Kobayashi
yeah,
Maru.
Thank you.
I mean, the one that never happened. That one. Oh shit. Okay. So we have. I do want to do some news this week. So we've got.
We're not going to do any of the other ones?
Well, that's what we're at the halfway point. So, what established actors should break their mold? That's an option. What 3 directors should remake a movie? They each get a scene or an act, I should say.
Let's do 2 directors that should work together
Okay.
instead.
All right, you want to do 2 instead of 3?
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
the 2
sure.
instead of the 3.
All right, so yeah, that's fine because I got.
You
3
know
movies.
way more about directors than
Yeah,
the
I
rest
don't
of
have
us.
super strong opinions about directors a lot of the
Okay,
time.
well then I will take.
How about Mike and I just do it?
Yeah.
You guys can do it as long as you pick something obscure so that I can pick mainstream.
Well, I
Well,
didn't-
or I was just thinking we could just do them in the.
Hey,
we
you
could
know
all
what?
Just discuss
So
them.
that I can
Yeah.
discuss my
Yeah.
Michael Bay Tarantino movie.
Yeah,
know what?
so I'm like, who else can I think of?
No, I like this. Me and Rob will do this, and the 2 of you will pick.
Yeah,
oh,
okay,
there you go.
perfect.
Can I,
yeah.
can I go first?
You can go first.
So mine is Josh Whedon and Zack Snyder.
Josh Whedon,
Okay.
and Zack Snyder. so
They have to
the
make,
light and
but they
dark.
actually have to make a movie together.
Oh my God.
Collaboratively. Boom!
I don't want to play anymore.
I know, let's just leave.
I think you might have won that one.
I think the documentary of the making of that movie might be better.
So that was one of them, and then here's my other one
Okay,
was
okay.
David Fincher and Christopher Nolan.
Okay,
so
yes.
so that
Now we
is
can
the
talk.
king of analog versus the king of digital, and they have to make a movie together because one of them only will film, only shoot on film, and one of them is like the leading fucking pioneer in digital filmmaking.
Okay. I
Those are my 2.
You just want conflict. You just
That's
some people just want to watch the world burn.
You're really saying Nolan is the leader in digital filmmaking?
no, he's the
Opposite.
holdout of analog.
Opposite.
Is he really?
He's film.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Yeah.
film. He's
David
film.
Fincher is
I don't, he's
He
not
does-
that
yeah.
fucking. What's his name there? Fucking
David Fincher.
Titanic is
No.
the leader.
Cameron?
and
No.
Cameron is. Oh, come on.
Okay,
Titanic
hang
was
on.
filmed.
Hang on.
Cameron comes up with a new technology every time he makes a fucking
Titanic
movie.
was filmed in 35 mil. David Fincher was the first one to do a feature film in full digital.
Okay, I guess the digital side, but as far as technology,
No, but that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That was the comedy of it, is that Nolan is this
All right.
holdout still
Like,
wanting to film on film.
What will happen
okay.
is the film will stop, and then the digital camera. How you gonna the nightmare you're causing in an editing room is amazing.
It's kind of like how like Jack White only will record on tape still.
yes.
He will not record on digital. It to the point where he couldn't find a studio anymore to film that way, so he bought a studio and converted it over to analog to keep that going in that industry.
interesting.
Studio City.
I did not know
Unbelievable
that.
documentary about the death of tape in the recording industry.
Oh, interesting.
Done by the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl.
I think I've seen parts of that.
It's a very good documentary.
Wasn't there a guy that had this like famous studio that was like
the Neve board
under his house that was some fucking weird?
Maybe not in this
It
one.
was built in like a sub basement, and everybody went there to record. And
Maybe Bob Rock or somebody like that.
Yeah.
But
I just don't have a lot of time for people who are just like esoteric for the sake of it. Like just come on, get with the times. Like you don't have to.
It's not, and I understand where you're coming from, but I mean, I think there's still something to be said about
Preserving history.
It's not about the preserving a history; it's about a specific type of sound, right? And
that's true. Or look, no, there is.
I don't know.
I'm only going to release on. I'm only
Look at you
releasing on vinyl.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You froze him in time.
I know he's broken. Sorry.
He's glitched.
Emotional damage.
Carry on.
Emotional damage.
So you're telling me that if they came out with a shiny new lightsaber, you'd be all over the shiny new lightsaber and not have nostalgia for the
Oh
original?
my god, you just
There's a shiny new one
you
right
totally
there.
just got me because like my lightsaber tattoo is like the OG Luke Skywalker.
know.
Yeah, you're
That's
fucking
why
right.
I said it.
You're fucking right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in the corner.
I guess, but like that's more because lightsabers aren't real, and the lightsaber technology that
Yet.
if I was trying to kill
Yet.
someone with a lightsaber,
Yet.
I would probably go with the newest technology. Yeah.
Do you
I think
remember
so.
seeing the documentary on how they did the practical effects on the first lightsabers?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
They actually have you?
No, I haven't seen
So they actually had the
Industrial
hilts.
light magic.
The hilts had motors in them, and it was like a rod that spun, and it's a highly reflective material that they put on it so that it would spin around really fast and reflect the light, and then they just like amplified that.
That's
post.
really cool.
But they actually, it was like a practical
and
effect.
then in post, they had to go on each frame
Yeah.
and actually they had to draw some stuff in.
That's sweet.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Love
why
it.
the original ones kind of like pulse in and out and change so much.
It's cool.
Oh, you guys want to hear? You guys want to hear mine?
Yeah.
I want to hear yours.
Okay, so I did.
Michael Bay, Quentin Tarantino.
Well, if we're gonna do,
We know that's not
I
going to
had-
happen
I
though
had a
because
threesome.
he's only got one more movie left.
I
Well,
wanna-
do your threesome. Do your threesome.
So, well, my threesome is, but I had another way if you wanted to do two. So the two I would do, I would take. I want to redo Fast and the Furious, but I want to put an artistic spin on it. So I picked Michael Mann and Steven Soderbergh to redo Fast and the Furious, and give it the clean, crisp, somebody always eating in the background feel that those guys do.
So you'll
Like
have
it's-
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Well, I'll have Brad Pitt for sure. I'll have Brad Pitt eating nachos just for the sake of everybody remembering Ocean's 11. Like it's a fan service. It's nothing else.
Interesting.
But
Or
so,
Fight Club where he's just eating potato chips.
yeah,
while
you
he's
see what
talking
I
to him
mean?
on the
Like
phone.
everything that Brad Pitt does, it's got to be with fucking food. So that's because I love Fast and the Furious. Don't get me wrong.
Fuck yeah.
I paid. There's a story, Emily, where me and Mark went to go see Hobbs and Shaw. I love Hobbs and Shaw so much I paid for it twice in one night because I bought tickets for the day we weren't going, and then I had to buy tickets the day we got there.
No, the story was that we talked about it, that we were excited to go. Mike's like, okay, I'm going to buy tickets. And he bought tickets for that night because he got so excited about buying tickets.
It's like, man,
So Hobbs and Shaw made $400 million at the box office, and you were like half of that.
I'm part owner.
Yeah.
of that. Like I helped fucking fund that film. So, anyways, but I love it, but it just doesn't get respect, right? Like it's
I don't think it's demanding respect as a movie. To
No,
be
it's
honest.
not. It-
No.
It's
no,
a popcorn movie.
That's okay.
Yeah, which is great though. That's what it should be.
But exactly, you're
Yeah.
totally right. But what if it was fucking cool?
What if it was art house?
What if it was art? What if it had a Michael Mann black hat heat kind of feel to it, where like it wasn't about stupidity and cars doing things that are physically impossible, but guys boosting cars and stealing them, like the Gone in 60 Seconds appeal.
I don't
But
know if I would like it as much.
no, you wouldn't.
No.
But
No, it would suck.
That's why I'm not winning. But then my other,
It's like coming up with a new formulation of Coke.
Yeah, it's like,
really.
it's perfect as it is. Leave it alone.
Have you noticed how like my two directors, I didn't even have to discuss the actual movie made. It was just we just talked about the directors and everyone thought it was funny. And you're actually having to describe the movie they have to make.
So
Go on.
then I also had a more silly, independent,
Pairing?
dramatic. So I put Catherine Bigelow and Greta Gerwig together.
Okay.
So what you'd have is you have your Hurt Locker, you have your Zero Dark 30, which is like very clean digital film, but then you've also got this independent feel to it because Gerwig is funny and Gerwig knows timing. Gerwig, it would give that sensible and cute factor to it, which nobody's asking to be in Fast and Furious, but nonetheless, I wasn't planning on trying to win. I was just planning on having a conversation. So
I like it because it reminded me how much I like Fast and the Furious. So there you go.
I
Mission accomplished.
think equal to Rob's battle there is we could get fucking Favreau and Scorsese.
yeah. With a little
Because one
Filoni.
doesn't make cinema according to the other.
No kidding. Okay, fair enough. I get what you're doing. Okay, cool. Well, there you go. So you can, if you want to see Fast.
Elf meets Goodfellas.
Iron Man meets the Irishman.
And and as good as Hurt Locker is, let's be honest, Point Break is Miss Bigelow's best movie.
It really is. It will. I mean, she left Cameron and then went and did that, and now like that's a cult phenomenon. Is
Absolutely.
Anyways,
Patrick Swayze's so dreamy.
He is.
Uncut Gems.
so Uncle John's.
That's you know who
He's
would
my
say that?
muse. Patrick Swayze's my muse. Yeah.
I was watching Forrest Gump and thinking that who could do Forrest Gump when I asked this next question, and the question is
Like which actor could?
which actor could. So the point is that which actor should break their
Ben
mold
Stiller.
and try something.
Never go full.
The point is what actor should break their mold out of doing those things, because when you think of Forrest Gump, you know that it's Tom Hanks. Like that's signature, right? And you wouldn't want to mess with that. But what should Tom Hanks do maybe that he hasn't done? So what actor do you want to see do something that they've never done?
I wonder what Mark says here. I'm really curious.
Yeah, let's start over in the corner there.
I think Tom Cruise should try not acting.
I was waiting for him to get that Cruise thing.
I think maybe Tom Cruise should break the mold and take up golf or something. Get the fuck out of the theater.
Oh my god.
His non-aging fucking midget self. Sorry, little person self.
Whoa.
Mark it.
Wow, you were angry there. There's a lot of anger.
I just don't. I don't think he's that horrible. Like in a vacuum.
You don't like Vanilla Sky?
Wait, I don't think he's horrible in a vacuum. What I hate is how much other people like him. Like I just think that they're fawning praise on him, and I look at it and I'm like, am I seeing like are you seeing something I don't? Like, you know, it's functional, but he's not making fucking cinematic history.
I know, but they're just good movies.
We did, and we have a super high movie club every Saturday, and we get really high and we watch two movies that usually have something to do with each other. So we did a Tom Cruise night, and we did Top Gun and Cocktail, and
okay.
and Cocktail
Is bad.
is so bad. It's such a bad movie.
Hey,
He's
now,
bad in
do
it.
not
It's so
touch
bad
one of
it's
my
good, though.
It makes no sense.
Don't touch my job.
Aruba, Jamaica.
Exactly.
Ooh, I want
And
to
like
take
the
ya.
storyline makes no sense at all. It just goes so, and I don't think that's particularly Tom Cruise's fault.
It allowed the Beach Boys to have a comeback.
I'm sad the Beach Boys ever went anywhere in the first place. Like, yeah, but I don't think it's Tom Cruise's fault. But I happen to agree with you. He's definitely not as good as people think he is. But Mission Impossible,
He's good enough.
Mission Impossible is all they're great.
But
They're all
Mission
great.
Well, the
Impossible.
first one's good because it's De Palma.
Mission Impossible is good
okay.
no matter who is in that role.
guess so.
The genre is good.
Yeah.
I don't know
Not
if
Cruise.
I don't know if it would have continued though if it wasn't Tom Cruise in that leading role.
Because he would have gotten older and it wouldn't have made sense anymore. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then they would have
So
had,
instead
they
they
had
had
to
to
do Irishman fucking de-aging.
They had to get a real vampire who could just
But like
do 18 films
He is
and not
actually
age.
pretty good as Lestat.
people put him in fucking weird shit. Like there's in no world should Tom Cruise be playing Jack Reacher. Right? Like if you
I
read
know, right?
if you read the Reacher books, he's like
Have you seen the new TV
The
series?
new
fuck?
guy is
Yeah.
what
It's
Reacher
good.
should be.
Yeah.
So hang on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
hang on. What you're telling me is Cruise can't reach?
yeah, stop reaching.
He can
Cruise.
reach to
If
the
it's on the
fucking
top shelf,
He can
no.
reach to the top shelf to get the cookies. That's about it. Maybe a
Hey-o.
stool.
You know what?
but they better be keto friendly cookies because no carbs are allowed in this temple.
You think the Tom Brady diet's strict? Fucking Tom Cruise just lives on adrenochrome.
I love.
Which is basically the premise of Monsters Inc.
Heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. No, I love when you vent about Tom Cruise. It's a show staple.
Tom Cruise could play Mike Wazowski.
You know what the great that's funny. You know what the great thing is? I love Tom Cruise.
I can watch him all day long.
I can watch him all day long too. I don't
Okay.
know what it is. Yeah.
So then answer the question though.
Yeah.
What actor do you want to see break their mold?
I just thought of that one because it's humorous.
You
But
don't-
I honestly, I think for that, in a serious reason, I'm going to pick Tom Cruise. But because he's got into that mold of being an action star now.
And just that.
And I think,
He's done stuff outside of that though.
I know,
Magnolia.
but that, as of recent, I think that's his sort of current
fallback.
mold for
You
the
want
last
to
decade
see you
or
want to
so.
see him work, don't you?
Yeah, and I think the movies that he's broke that mold in have been good. Like everybody's done different things, right? I just think he's a better actor when he's not doing action movies.
He did too. I mean, he did Vanilla Sky and Magnolia, and those were
Yeah,
late
those are
90s.
like 2
and
decades
then,
ago.
And then he had some critical acclaim with them, but not what he wanted. And then I think he just reverted. And then Mission Impossible 2 came out, and then he just rolled with
I
it.
legitimately forgot Vanilla Sky existed until you said it earlier. So like obviously
It's
it
a
didn't
good-
make an impact on me.
It's a good movie. You should rewatch it.
Okay.
It's fun to watch now with the technology that we have today.
Yeah.
It actually would be interesting to give it another pass.
Edge of Tomorrow was good.
Edge of Tomorrow's fucking amazing.
That's what
That might be one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies.
You mean your only Tom Cruise movie you like?
I liked
I like Minority
Top Gun.
Report. I liked Minority Report.
Minority
Yeah.
Report's. Yeah. Who did Minority Report? That's
He's good in
that's
Color of
Steven
Money,
Spielberg
guys.
is Minority
Is this
Report.
Spielberg?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll give you
So
that.
Color of Money, he's fucking great in.
Okay, if we're gonna go back, yeah. Color
Risky
Money.
Business is fucking
Risky
hilarious.
Business is quite
I
good.
love.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for Cocktail in my heart because I started watching. I watched that movie when I
What's the
started.
movie where he has the bad teeth in it? Where his like his veneer popped off and he.
Oh, I know. I
It's
can
the
picture
one.
the character.
It's like his the first movie he's ever in. It's with
Is it the war movie?
Ralph
he did?
Macchio's in it.
Oh,
and,
the
I can't remember.
Pony Boy. Pony Boy.
Outsiders?
The Outsiders.
Outsiders.
The
Thank you,
Outsiders.
thank you.
Rob
Yeah.
Lowe, Patrick Swayze,
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, Ralph Macchio. I want Anthony Hopkins to do a comedy, like a straight up dick and fart joke.
And he doesn't
Silly-
speak in a British accent.
Yeah, like he's a couch stoner,
Oh,
or
that'd be awesome.
or just like, have you ever seen his Instagram? He's a fucking kooky old man. Like he plays and has fun and is silly, and there is something there that as soon as like you just hear Anthony Hopkins, you're like, oh, Sir Anthony, and you're like, he's a knight, and you're like, no, he's a fucking goofball,
That's awesome.
and it doesn't get broadcasted enough. So I think like in a Step Brothers-esque comedy. With him
I just
hanging,
watched Step Brothers
right?
the other day. It's
okay,
so good.
like if you
We have
put
so much more room for activities.
he's an it's an actor who he doesn't view himself as an actor. He's Shakespearean. He's theater trained.
Yeah.
He's like he is.
It's a thespian.
Yeah, right. He is acting, and like the film he did last year that he got nominated for, where he had Alzheimer's, and you watch the his mind degrade, and just a scene where he breaks and screams for his mommy, and you're like, that is acting. But then to see him in like a something about Mary Jizz scene, perhaps like
It's Step Brothers. 20 years later, Anthony Hopkins, Ian McKellen.
Oh, I love it. That's
yeah,
excellent.
yeah, but Patrick Stewart won't allow that to happen.
I was just gonna
He's
say,
my best friend.
What do
He's
we?
my best friend.
Yeah, what do we do? Patrick put a flag in that.
Yeah,
like 4
absolutely.
years
He'd
ago.
cameo it because he loves
Yeah.
cameoing everything.
You know what? Yeah. Okay. So Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, and Anthony Hopkins cameoing as what other
As the brother, as Derek.
as Okay, so he pulls a normal American accent as Derek and he's still wearing the leather jacket.
Yeah, absolutely.
And who plays Derek's wife that loves?
Oh, she's amazing.
Actually,
What's her name?
That's Catherine Hahn.
Catherine Hahn. Yes.
You know what? I kind of.
That's fucking Agnes all along.
This all along.
I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like, Anthony
Agatha.
Hopkins has been in so many things. I feel like he's broken his character. I mean, when he played Odin, he's not that serious.
You're right. I'm not saying he hasn't.
But
done
you
it.
want
Like,
it. You want it to be slapstick, silly, Adam McKay,
I want
Will
Farley
Ferrell
Brothers
style,
right?
fucking
Yeah, like I want some 80s, 90s Bill and Ted, silly humor,
Wedding
right?
Crash.
Wedding Crash. You're my boy,
Vince
Blue,
Vaughn.
right? Like give me that 90s.
Oh, Anthony Hopkins going full Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
right?
Tropic Thunder style.
Oh my
A-
God.
anything that is
That
that
movie's
is
so good.
anti, because when you see him, you're like, I expect nothing but you're like the two popes he was in, like and even in Joe Black, he is kind of funny because he's the stoic businessman, right? But like he's English, so it's all about his timing. I'm talking about like where the joke is like laid out for you, and it's dumb as fucking
He's
shit.
literally like farts are funny.
Yeah, farts are like he farts. Anthony Hopkins farts
Yeah.
is what I want.
I think I've seen this happen though, like Michael Caine in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yes,
Which was
you.
basically Inventing Anna.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Like the whole time I was watching Inventing Anna, I was like, this is like basically
Ruprecht.
the real life
Ruprecht.
version of like Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, almost.
Well, there was also a movie with Anne Hathaway and
Oh, the Melissa McCarthy.
That's a remake of it.
no,
That's-
not Melissa McCarthy. Rebel Wilson.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a remake of it.
That's 100% the story.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mark, when I went Emily, who's breaking your cookie mold?
You know, you guys actually gave me a really good segue because mine is actually Will Ferrell. So it goes the other direction. And the reason I say Will Ferrell is because I'm not a huge fan of Will Ferrell. I don't really like. I feel like Will Ferrell is kind of in the Adam Sandler kind of vibe where you can watch one movie and you think it's really, really hilarious, and whatever Will Ferrell movie you like is the first one you saw, because after that every Will Ferrell movie is the same, right? And so but
Who invited her?
the exception,
Get out.
no, I will not. The exception to that being he was in a movie called Stranger Than Fiction,
He was.
which
I was
was
waiting for
really,
you to break-
really, really good.
I
And
bought
Stranger
you flowers.
Exactly, and he was so funny in it. But Stranger Than Fiction was an exceptional movie, and it, for those of our listeners who haven't seen it, it's basically Will Ferrell plays a guy who wakes up one morning and all of a sudden his life is being narrated, and the narrator is actually a real life author played by Emma Thompson.
Yeah.
Played by Emma Thompson.
Who's trying
Emma
to kill him.
Thompson's trying to write a book where her character dies. And so she's writing a book, and she wants the character to die, and the character is a real person, and it's Will Ferrell's character. Anyway, it's super good, and it's more serious, and it's my favorite Will Ferrell movie, and I think he's exceptional in it, and it shows his acting abilities in a much wider range, and it shows that he's got good timing that's not just like shitty slapstick comedy timing. And I think even further than that might be even something more, even bigger, more interesting.
So you don't think Starsky and Hutch, like when he does like, it's gonna get a little crazy in here, 2 dragons. You don't think that was like,
Or
you
like-
know?
Very serious, super serious.
Chicken. Mom, get some chicken.
Where's the meatloaf? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, it's the
Gator
same
don't
every
play
time.
that.
It's the same every time.
You know what? There's another one he did where he played an alcoholic, and all of his stuff was moved out of his house, and he had to sell it. I can't remember the name of it, but it does what you're asking.
Oh, okay.
I think he's only done it like Stranger Than Fiction, and this is the only 2.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting more,
Yeah.
go look.
Because I
But
actually
you're-
love Stranger
I
Than
think
Fiction.
he's talented.
He
He's
is
very
very
talented. And like many of my favorite comedians, I think he's best when he's toned down.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about Jim Carrey. I think Jim Carrey is talented, better toned down. Adam Sandler, better toned down.
Yeah.
They when they're let go,
Fun, you like funny people, don't you?
but when they let go, they're too much. I think. But play like Vince Vaughn, give me max fucking turn it to 11 Vince Vaughn, and I still think he's funny. But I want Jim Carrey at like a 5.
I want
Yeah.
Will Ferrell playing Chad Smith.
That something has to happen with that. Like the late night crews
There
have done
has.
so
They had a drum off.
but I
It's
mean,
so good.
I mean, where they're both in a movie together, where like they're at a con,
Where
and
he's-
Chad dresses up as Will Ferrell
and
at
then
a
vice-
Comic Con
with like the curly hair.
with the
and-
curly hair
yeah.
and shows up. I think that needs to be written. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Will Ferrell is
He's a great actor, and whenever people say, like, when I say Stranger Than Fiction is my favorite Will Ferrell movie, people look at me like I have 8 heads. But you can see him as an actor in that in just such a different light, and I want more of that.
It's fair.
And it's not like he's turning it down. He's acting.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
It's not like
And
he's
he's
like, I'm
still-
turning down I'm getting rid of like.
It's kind of like Adam Sandler and Uncle John's.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I get it.
Yep.
Rob.
So I have 2, and I'm just gonna throw both of them out there. So first off, I'd like to see Samuel L. Jackson in a rom-com.
Oh my God.
Ain't no motherfucking love in this motherfucking date.
And I would like to see Zoe Deschanel play a femme fatale in a film noir thriller.
Oh my God. I love that.
She's got the look.
Yes.
She does.
But she always plays the squeaky,
Yes.
clean,
Yeah.
The nice
hipster,
girl.
quirky girl.
Yes.
Yep.
No, well, that's not true.
Do you want to see her walking like with
Failure
a,
to Launch? She kind of plays like the weird friend who's like a little bit bitchy, right?
But she's always quirky. It's like the
But
quirky,
do you
the
want-
weird.
do you
yeah,
want like that
yeah.
Casablanca feel where she comes in a trench coat and she's looking for a detective and she's
Sure, something like
you
that.
know, like where,
or even
but she
just like,
saunters
or
and-
she's just like hypersexual, and it's like the polar opposite.
She's serious. Serious sexual instead of cute.
Correct.
Yeah, I got you.
I get what, no, I get what you're saying.
And
Gotcha.
but also it's a thriller, so it's not. It's something psychological with a lot of twists, and you're kind of like. And
So
you're-
she's
and
like a
complete-
this what's the
it's like a-
Black Widow kind of thing or something like that.
Sure,
Ooh,
sure.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
That's
I
a
really
definite-
like her.
Wait, and
She's
like
she's great.
I don't see how she can't. She's playing like 500 Days of Summer. She's great in. Like she's got acting. She can be more than what she gets, and her sister can do it. So I mean, it's in the family. Bones. All right. Well, that's.
I like that one.
Yeah. No, it's
That is good.
it's just like they get in their action hero roles, as we've said about Cruise, right? And you stay in your lane because it's constant work. First of all,
Well, you get
right?
typecast.
You get or you typecast yourself on purpose so that you have constant
Longevity.
work, right? Like Nicolas Cage is typecast as the
Nick
actor.
Cage.
The worst.
He's Nick Cage.
He's Nick Cage. He'll do anything, right? But that he's got work.
Woo!
Whereas if you're waiting for your
Nicolas
Cast
Cage.
of Troy.
where you're
hate him.
waiting. Where you're waiting
I love
for
that movie.
So you hate.
Face Off.
Do you
I
hate,
hate Nicolas
Do you hate
Cage.
Nick Cage as much as he?
Honestly, probably
Cruise?
yes. I don't understand what people think.
Welcome
Nick
to
Cage-
The Rock.
Okay, with the exception of The Rock is an excellent movie. But again, I think that it would be an excellent movie with or without.
You don't
Nick
like
Cage.
Raising Arizona?
No, I also sorry. You picked the 2. Yes, Raising Arizona is also
National
an excellent
Treasure?
movie.
Because
Come on.
every time, and National Treasure is really good. Anytime somebody says they hate Nick Cage, I bring up Raising
Raising
Arizona, and
Arizona.
they're like, "Damn you!"
I know, you're right. Raising Arizona is actually a really, really good movie. But no, I think he's got no expression. Like he's so expressionless.
You don't think Leaving Las Vegas is full of expression?
No, I think he's very like it's like
Matchstick Men?
It's like listening to a song and wanting the chorus to hit with like an interesting.
It's an interesting way of explaining
Fast
it.
Times at Ridgemont High.
I mean, there's good. Don't get me wrong. There are good Nicolas Cage movies. I'm
The
just saying
Wicker
Nicolas
Man.
Cage is-
The Wicker Man.
But my husband really likes Nicolas Cage, and so we have.
You don't like National Treasure?
No, I don't.
How do you not like that
That's
movie?
stupid.
It's such a great movie. It's like
Those are
puzzles
Bruckheimers,
and
right?
solving. And
Yeah.
it's like
It's like the Da Vinci Code,
Like
but
Da Vinci
comedy.
Code, yeah. So last year for Valentine's Day,
It's a funny Da Vinci Code.
I bought Dan a mug that says "You're my national treasure" with Nick Cage's face
Oh,
on
that's
it.
amazing.
nice. That's amazing.
Because I hate him and he loves.
Is
it.
it
so
a
we
crazy
go
Nick
back
Cage,
and
like the
forth.
one where he's like, "Woo!"
You know, he's like
a-
this. I also bought him a full sweatsuit, like sweatpants and a hoodie that is just Nick Cage's face, like top to bottom. So like,
Does he ever want to have sex with you while wearing that sweatsuit?
I think he wants to forget that he owns it. Like sometimes I pull it out, I'm like, you should wear this. He's like, oh yeah, definitely.
You should make him wear that out on a date.
If you bring it over here, I'll wear it. And you can take a picture of me in it just to remind him. Be like,
Just to remind him it exists.
Didn't
Yeah.
we always used to at Folk Fest we had a picture of Travolta and we just used to call it a picture of Nick Cage, or was it the other way around?
It was John Travolta, and but we were making face-off jokes about it.
Oh, that's such a bad movie. Oh,
Face-off?
yes.
a
Oh my
great
god, I
movie.
hate that movie. I hate everything about that movie.
Castor and Pollux Troy.
yeah, it's that you really don't like it.
I hate it. It's not that I don't. I'm not even. I don't like it. I hate it.
Oh.
I will act like it makes me
You don't
uncomfortable.
like Ang Lee?
It makes me uncomfortable. It like the weird like fucking sexual thing when the bad
I Could
guy
Eat You
to
Like a
the good
Peach?
guy's daughter.
That was kind of the point.
Fuck me, I hate
He's a
that
fucking
movie.
sociopath.
I hate that movie.
He's a psychopath.
regard
it was
for
to,
anything.
it was to showcase
I
how
know,
bad of a human he was.
I understand. I hate it.
That's fair.
I love the
You're
scene.
entitled to your opinion.
I love the scene when
It makes me.
It's wrong, but you're entitled to it.
I feel icky just thinking about that movie.
the scene when Nick Cage.
But that means it
embraces-
Keep
resonates
talking
with
about
you.
it.
What?
It
scene-
resonates with you because it left that creepiness.
It resonates
anyways.
with me in the way that I hope I never have to think about it again.
in that movie when he finally embraces
Fair.
Travolta's character,
Yeah.
and he starts doing the woo, but you could see on his face that he's like fucking torn. Like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting
in
into
the- in
this,
the jail
but
cell?
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, should I be doing this? I don't like that fucking moment.
I'm
That's pure
Casper
acting.
Troy.
It's kind of a it kind of speaks to the human condition where sometimes you need to be conditioned enough not to go to that full scary place,
Yeah.
but sometimes being in that full scary place is so much fun and so fucking awesome, but so wrong.
Yeah, you could. There's that moment there when he just had that unsure look on his face, where he was kind of going across the line, and then he embraced it.
What is too much? Yeah. All right. Well, that's the real talk.
Or when he has
for
to
you.
when he has to hit the guy with the metal fucking plate in the jail in the
Oh,
face.
yes.
Those boots too. I love those boots.
The magnetic
stick to
boots.
the floor.
Didn't Samuel L. Jackson already do a rom-com with John Travolta, where they were?
Yeah, it was a buddy romantic comedy.
Le Big Mac.
That's what. Yeah, it was an independent. Not many people saw it.
What do
Fucking Royale,
What do they
which
call what do they call a Whopper? I don't know. I didn't go fucking Burger King.
So that's the real talk for you this week, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know what your thoughts are if you want at therealdebaters@gmail.com or give us a review on the Podchaser app at therealdebaters.ca. There is some news that we can go through quickly here before we let everybody out of here.
Did you say nudes?
Nudes? Yes.
Yeah, I brought my news. You guys didn't bring yours?
Yeah.
That was.
No.
I thought that was on the homework list.
We're all going to put them down on the ground.
Awkward. Okay, so they're already in the group chat, so just don't look.
We're just going to put our phones
We've
down.
already uploaded that to the website.
So, first things first, like big week because of Super Bowl. The Multiverse of Madness trailer has been plastered all over the internet all week long, and it would be ridiculous not to be like, yeah, we saw it, we watch it, we love it. Mark, you said in the chat group that you've got you got a Zen? You need a minute?
Oh, I'm just. That's consumed me.
Frame by
Okay.
frame.
Who'd you watch? Who do we shout out here? Is it New Rockstar? Or is
New
this...
Rock Stars, Emergency Awesome, Screen Rant.
Yep, Screen Rant's got a good one. I started watching the Screen Rant after the New Rockstars.
Those are probably my 3 go-tos.
Ev from New Rockstars, right? Is that Ev's? Ev is his name?
I think so. I
Evan?
really like off of no. What the fuck is his name? It'll come to me anyways. But yeah, I've just been watching all those breakdowns, and it's just amazing.
So first reactions, Rob. Because I know you've been saying for a while that you're Marvel, but Spider-Man.
I want to do more acid, and
Hey, me too. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
We can go to this on acid, guys. Like, I can't think
No,
of a better way.
I when I go see a movie like this,
I'm
I wanna
feeling
just,
it's going to be an acid
if,
trip to
if,
begin
if
with.
I'm gonna drop acid, it's an intentional, like, let's just fucking go with it and just be somewhere. I don't need to be like have like fucking structure and stuff. It just has to be safe.
Yeah, you need to
Copy
go.
that.
You need to go on adventure.
Yeah, exactly. I only watched the trailer once. I try not to watch trailers over and over and over again. I just wanna prime my pump for the excitement of something, and then I hold off and then I go see it.
Good idea.
That's
yeah.
the way I've really kind of become.
It's like the tantra of movie
Boom.
watching.
Because
Edging.
I
He's
used to
edging.
I used to obsess sometimes about trailers and watch them over and over and over and over and over again, and then
That guy-
sometimes if
That's
the,
not what I'm doing.
the-
Is edging. What he's doing is walking into the room, seeing his partner naked, and then leaving for
Was
an
that
hour.
me? Why are you pointing at me?
Can I finish my point?
How did we get to that?
I know. I'm like, Rob gives me a ride here once, and all of a sudden
He's
like,
looking at it, then he's forgetting about it. He's
I'm not
edging.
forgetting about it. I'm just not obsessing about it.
Oh.
And because I was trying to explain the whole thing, because in the past I've watched a trailer over and over and over again, and I built up this hype and this expectation of the movie, and then that movie falls short because the trailer was better than the movie, and then I'm disappointed. So I've found that if I prime the pump just a little bit and I don't overanalyze it too much with the trailer, then I tend to go into the movie with a lower expectation, and then it's a home
And
run
then
for me.
you're blown away. You have some room to be
But
entertained.
I get it. This type of trailer, I've wanted to go down the rabbit hole of the analysis of it because there's so many little touch points in it where you're just like, whoa, 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 whoa.
I see your point, and I think it's true to.
And I raise you.
But I think it's true to a point.
Yeah.
Is that yes, the teaser part is good, and then you get your expectations, and if you sort of like half-ass it down the rabbit hole, then you kind of ruin things for yourself. But when you go like full rabbit hole, then you end up with so many different theories, like fucking different multiverses, then you don't just like get something spoiled for you. You come up expecting so much crazy shit that you have like 14 different theories about what might happen. And now when the movie comes around, you're like, well, which one of my 10 guesses of what's going to happen is really going to happen? And then you're surprised from a different angle.
That's fair. I respect
Right?
that.
So, and me, I've recently got back into comic book collecting.
Yeah.
So I've also watched the comic book collecting community tears down all of these trailers from a point of view of which characters they're going to feature or cameo, because then the comic book market for the appearances of those characters in book skyrockets in investment. So from a comic book perspective, they tear down scene by scene, trying to determine, okay, who is that in the background? Is that, in that shard of glass on the movie poster, is that Deadpool? Because is he going to make the appearance? Because if he appears in the movie, then his stock is going to rise. And, so it's a whole different aspect of it. So my rabbit hole is fucking deep right now.
I mean, I'm excited because I think this movie is going to further tie in everything and into this nice, nestled, perfect MCU. And Disney's just like, we will own everything.
But it's also going to open up the door to be like anything could be canon.
Totally.
Right? It can suck in. Fucking Seinfeld could be fucking canon for the MCU by the time this thing's done. Like, it's ridiculous. And I think that's the cool part that excites me, is that as crazy as you think it might get, it might even be crazier than that.
But that's why I've always liked Marvel better than DC, is because Marvel always took elements of our world and put it in there. Whereas I feel like DC always kind of created this world,
Other world.
like, that was like juxtaposition from ours, right? It's not New York. It's Gotham and Metropolis.
Yeah.
It's not, you know what I mean? It's not Chicago. It's Central City, right? And that's why I don't know. Maybe I just identified better with Marvel my entire life.
That's interesting. Yeah, it is kind of more real in that sense.
I am so excited for what Sam Raimi can say with this, because it's a new way to receive a Marvel movie, like how Eternals was a new way for Chloe Zhao. Like, you have a product that everybody yells and screams.
Say hello
about.
to my boomstick, bitch. Is that going to be in there?
Are we
Should be.
gonna get some Campbell?
Fucking be amazing.
Like, that's a huge. If you have a Sam Raimi picture and you don't have any Campbell in it, and the
Doesn't Campbell
all
Campbell,
three Spider-Man?
Oh, he has a he has a
He's the usher in one of
That's
them.
right.
He's a street person in another. I
bus
think.
driver in one.
Yeah, like very minimal roles, but it's a Sam Raimi nut. So, is that going to happen? But what's really
It'd be better if Ash was actually in the MCU. Discuss.
Pong. I'm looking forward to more Wanda, because Wanda
Yeah.
looks like she's going to have a thing or two to say.
That's what I was gonna say too. Like, I didn't realize how much I really liked the Wanda character until, of course, WandaVision, and then I really, really grew to love the character and also the character of Scarlet Witch, and so I'm really excited to see what happens.
She
with that.
plays a bigger role in the Avenger comics than I think people realize, and so does Doctor Strange, right? So it's more, interwoven in there. And now I'm actually gonna have to.
That's a huge theory. Is that so? A huge arc in the Marvel comics was a series called House of M, when Scarlet Witch lost her shit over losing her kids and Vision, and basically destroyed every mutant in the universe in one. Like, let there be no more mutants.
Now,
right?
Is that because who got rid of her children?
her
in the House of M.
I haven't read the whole.
Okay.
I don't know this. It boils down to like Mephisto and making a deal with him over something, and right. So that's why everybody thought Mephisto was going to appear in WandaVision as the big bad,
and Loki,
basically doing a deal with the devil,
Captain America.
And so she got so angry that she's that powerful, and that's what showed her power is that she destroyed every mutant, basically eliminated them. Now the theory with this one is that they're doing an inverse of House of M, where in order to bring mutants into the MCU to get her kids back, Wanda's going to say, let there be mutants, as opposed to getting rid of mutants. And she is going to single-handedly bring mutants into the MCU.
She's so powerful. She's
and
such a
the
powerful
Sentinels.
character, so.
And well, what did they refer to her as in Ultron when we first meet her? Like, they don't call her mutants because they weren't. They couldn't. They called them like wonders or beauties.
They call them powered people. They call them Inhumans.
They call them everything.
Reference them in a bunch of different names.
No. I saw the new Rockstar clip of this whole thing that you're talking about, and that excites me.
Who do you think's going to play the new Wolverine?
Oh. Here's what I think. He has said.
Who do you think you cast?
Do
you actually cast somebody who's short?
I mean, look what happened when they recast the Reacher.
Have you heard about the whole push to get Danny DeVito cast as the Wolverine?
Oh, fuck, I can't wait. I hope it's like a hybrid between Wolverine and the Penguin. It's going to be fucking epic.
But it's going to be
I think that's one of the biggest things is because Wolverine's huge. And who are they going to get to fill those shoes?
It's
right?
literally Spider-Man and Wolverine are arguably probably the two biggest Marvel superheroes.
And they recast young versions of almost all the other X-Men except Wolverine.
Because
right?
Hugh Jackman was so good at it. My only issue was he's 6'1" and Wolverine is 5'3".
But if all of everything can now be canon, and we know that Wolverine's
it's a multiverse
ability,
it's a multiverse, right?
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
But his ability to span his own verse and that timeline, he can exist on multiple points over the multiverse longer than any other character can. So if you want to have Wolverine in anything now that mutants come back, just pick whatever timeline you want.
I guarantee you Hugh Jackman is going to do a cameo.
Absolutely.
100%.
That
I can also almost guarantee you that Professor X that we saw voice in the
do we all
cameo,
agree? We can all agree. I think it's.
I think they've
not
actually come and said it.
Okay.
Can Fassbender still be Magneto though?
In any multiverse you want,
because he's so fucking good.
He was amazing.
I think
we need James McAvoy and Fassbender to be a part of this. Like it's.
I think they're actually going to introduce some of those characters and then kill them off in that movie.
Oh, like in and out.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, in and out to bring the universe together, but then eliminate them from the timeline.
And because it can't exist together, because there's too much X in one universe, you have to make a choice.
Yes, he's going to come in and then get killed.
Also, probably I don't want to keep paying those.
Now,
actors.
if that lines up with the Logan storyline to be this is what causes X to go and need his medication in Logan, that's even cooler.
We also need a proper Strife and Cable, and I want to see. I hope they end up doing Executioner Song, which is one of the best fucking series of X-Men comics from the mid 90s.
What's the story?
It's long conversation. It's amazing. It ties in Gold and Blue Strike Force, and this is at the height of X-Men. This is right before all those guys left and basically created Image Comics, right? So you got Jim Lee and you got Rob Liefeld, and and they're it's epic. Actually, it was early 90s.
There's also a theory that the new the new Disney TV show property, right? The X-Men 97
is picking. Well, it is picking up right where it left off. That much.
And there's talk of though in the movie actually tying that in, like the characters from the animated series,
which to me is like as accurate to the comic as ever
into
been.
The actual universe as a segment of animation mixed in with the multiverse.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Where
we
Gambit's
can have
actually
animated
fucking
Jean Grey
cool.
and animated Gambit.
Yes.
Nice.
So like some of the theory is that that's going to be woven in that way too. So like one of those shards of a multiverse is going to be an animated multiverse.
Do we all want to see?
I also need Rogue and Jean Grey to be on fucking point, and I need Rogue to actually be able to fucking fly. And they also need to have the proper storyline where Rogue actually stole Mrs. Marvel's like powers, who's Jean Grey's mother, and that's why there's always like this weird kind of like interplay between them of mother and daughter.
The great thing is that we have the characters already made. We have she's from Winnipeg. What's her face? Who played Rogue in there?
Paquin.
Anna Paquin.
Paquin,
So
yeah.
if we just elaborate and continue to use Anna Paquin in an older multiverse and add what you've just said on and elaborate with Hugh Jackman and add on Executioner's Song, like that's what this multiverse allows them all to do. That's what's the most like whatever we get. Whatever story they tell us, we know will be great.
We also need a proper Fantastic Four with Galactus,
Yes. Oh my
with
goodness.
fucking Silver Surfer,
That's
all
gonna happen.
tied in.
You
That's
can-
going to
and-
be
yeah.
awesome. With
Well,
fucking scrolls everywhere that are actually legit scrolls.
There's
like,
a paused clip of this trailer where I think they say it might be Monica Rambeau. She might be in this.
I also want to see Secret Wars. Like,
no.
I'm hoping they're going to like capture
Her
Secret Wars.
mother.
Sorry, Monica Rambeau's mother,
who is Melissa.
Proton,
No,
Which
Proton
is actually how the
Monica Rambeau.
symbiote actually gets into
Her
the
mom
universe.
is from
Oh, the
Captain
symbiotes
Marvel.
get there?
from who is Carol Danvers' partner.
Yeah, that's Proton. That's where her original name came from, right?
Oh yes, sorry. Yeah,
That's her call sign.
Yes. So yeah, and they're saying in an alternate universe, she was the one that did the test flight that turned Carol Danvers into Captain Marvel. So instead, she gets turned it, and it's not Monica. What is it?
Anyways, this character that we're talking about is in a very brief clip.
Well,
And it
they
looks like
claim
she's- yeah, they
there's
claim,
a big. It's either fucking Tom Cruise or her.
but she kicks the wall behind her and cracks open another world. And in this very brief clip, you see multiple multiverses. So the one that they enter into has infinite multiverses wrapped within it.
Infinite.
So you can pull and you can have
Maria
Yeah.
Rambeau.
Maria Rambeau. There it is. Do we deserve a Brad Pitt as Thor, a Tom Cruise as Iron Man, whoever was supposed to be Black Widow, whoever was supposed to be
It's almost for sure we're gonna get Tom Cruise.
he's the one having done Tropic Thunder. I think he's got enough of a sense of humor. Can we agree on this, Mark?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're saying it's gonna be. There's a superior Iron Man is his version, and he's a cocky asshole. So it just fits perfect for him. That's
Emily,
also
is
the
there-
reason in that scene that it's Ultron, fucking whatever they are, fucking droids,
Oh, the Ultron droids that are in
right?
the Illuminati
Sentries,
scene. Yeah.
leading him up. They're saying that maybe that's a time that Ultron didn't go bad, and that's actually being controlled by like basically.
You know what the greatest thing about all of this is it just shows the complexity and depth that the Marvel universe had just from comic books
Storytelling.
and how much how many characters and storylines, like they can literally make movies for the next 20
Yeah, it
fucking
can go
years.
on forever. Like
Like
you
it's
can,
it's insane.
We can get whatever
And
we
it-
want.
Yeah, and I love the fact that they've taken what's been so cool in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, but couldn't be realized into film because we just didn't have the capability from a CGI perspective, and now it's actually happening. It just warms my soul. And I know I kind of like I'm hot and cold sometimes with these superhero movies because I'm like really into them, and then I kind of get sick of them, and then I get back into them and stuff like that.
Totally
But
acceptable.
holy fuck, are we ever in this like magical age of fucking storytelling?
After seeing how well they did Skywalker in Boba Fett,
yeah.
Is it
like you
is
can
it-
do
Those
anything
deepfakes,
now.
Is it really fucking
absolutely.
awesome?
Oh,
It is.
I've heard it's good.
So
like
awesome.
so much
is-
better
it
than
is-
in
it is-
fucking The Mandalorian.
But it's the guy
Yeah.
from YouTube, the deep fake guy, the guy that everybody talks about. Disney hired him.
It's actually kind of scary, like because like this is where
Oh, the ethics around this conversation.
It's the future. You take an actor that's like you basically take the stunt man, he does the whole movie, and you just fucking put a different face on him and make him the other character. Like your actor doesn't even need to fucking act anymore.
But do we want
Really,
to
like,
do
it's
we want to
crazy.
make? Do you want to make that part of the? Do you want to make?
is that going to
McDonald's-
become the new champagne? You know how you can only call it champagne because it's from the Champagne
Yes.
region. You're only by law you will only be able to be called an actor if you actually act in real life. There's going to be like this You
Yeah.
know, where there's like
Otherwise, you're just a sparkling.
well, no,
stunt
you
double.
won't be part of. You won't be. No, listen. You won't be part of SAG, right, and get a certain payout level.
Yeah.
Unless you are this. Otherwise, you're considered deepfake. It's going to have a set classification, and you're going to be paid the same as the grip.
So if you don't want to do a film that you actually have to be there for, but you can sell your likeness to
Yeah.
the film, then you
Your
get
royalty,
paid less.
your royalty payout wouldn't be the same or something to that.
If you
effect.
showed your ass up and did it, then you'd get more money.
I don't know. I think that's pretty fucking cool. I mean, but I'm not the kind of person who I would worry about people trying to make a deep fake of me, right? So, like, to me, it means nothing. Like, I'm a nobody, and
well, until somebody's trying to pin a crime on you.
nobody would believe I'm capable.
And then Tom
of
Cruise
crime.
shows up.
Seems
and
like the premise of a pretty fucking awesome movie.
but Tom Cruise would show up just before you did it and show you a little ball that tells you exactly what you were going to do.
It's true. And Tom Cruise and I are about the same height.
There you go.
So it would be no problem.
He can look you right eye to eye.
Yeah, and just tell me my future. And then they could deep fake my face right onto his.
Can he reach you is what you're saying?
He's good. Yeah, he's a reacher. Yeah.
Well, listen, I love we talked about the majority of what was relative.
We talked about the whole list except for our favorite opening scene.
Yeah,
but
I don't know the
think-
favorite opening scene.
I think we leave that. We put a
Yeah?
pin in that and leave that for another
yeah,
time.
I agonized over that one.
Make the listener wait. Okay, fair enough. I
Well,
like
obviously
it.
the answer is Raiders, and so next, you know.
That
Tune
was
in
Dan's.
next
One of
time.
Dan's answers was Raiders. Yeah.
So that's another Real Debaters production for you, ladies and gentlemen. If this is your first time, please give us a chance. Stick around at the end of the show. There's a little blurb there on how you can partake in Debaterverse information. All the things, all of the ways to watch. All of the,
Debaterverse. I like that.
it's ours until someone else tells me that they've got it first. Yes, you can watch us, listen to us, read about us. There's a website all there.
Buy a
There's-
sweater. Match
Bu-
with me.
Buy a sweater, buy a skateboard. We got merch that's all there for you to masturbate in, as we like to do here.
I masturbate in my sweater all the time.
I masturbated in mine last night.
Did you finish in your sock?
Dude, I was gonna say, do we have debater socks?
Do we have masturbate socks?
Well, to answer your question,
And
yes,
they're
we
only
actually
sold
do.
as singles, not doubles.
Can we should sell a masturbate kit.
Yeah, we probably should.
We should sell socks and Kleenex and it's for
And
mas-
socks.
and little lotion bottles.
Yeah, no,
Lube.
that trademark.
We should also one of us, like, it comes with a picture, your choice, one of the real debaters in like a real debater sweater and like no pants or something.
Sure, I'm
So
down.
like, yeah, you have
And it should be like a kit for 4 since it's masturbating.
team masturbate.
Well, you can't masturbate without
without
mask.
your friend, without
Never masturbate alone
Is
again.
it, I was gonna say, but is it quantity or is it like
Oh,
in your
yes.
head, like,
Can we
'cause-
make a Twisters game?
I think
a
I
Twister
can
variation of this?
masturbate on
like
my
frequency or
own? Yes,
like
the frequency or number of friends.
I just love that I don't have to remember this. Like when I edit the episode, I'll be like, we'll make some socks. We'll put this kit together. It'll be on our
And
site
if you get
somehow.
you choose your own sexy Polaroid,
Yeah.
one of the cast members. And just
If
pop it in
you're
there
from
for ya.
if you're from Winnipeg,
Yeah.
stay tuned for your own personal 4-way masturbating kit, courtesy of the Real Debaters.
masturbate starter kit.
Yeah, exactly. If you didn't know how, listen to
It's
an
gonna be like
episode.
those soaps from fucking Instagram that Rob bought.
Yes. Actually, you know what that reminds me? Where the fuck are those? I gotta try those out.
You do.
What are they? What is?
Can you
They're
make
Star Wars
his
soaps.
Wookiee wash.
Yeah.
Wookiee wash. Oh, it smells like wet dog again.
Anyways,
Who are you calling scruffy looking?
Nerf herder. I have been Michael Petrow,
Emily Clark.
Mark Cowell.
Rob Strachan.
and watch all the movies. Bye, kids. Masturbate. Bye.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, another Real Debaters production is in the can. Thank you so much for listening. If this is your first, second, third, fifth, 20th time, thank you so much. But thank you to the first timers, the ones here who pressed play for the first time and took a gamble on us. If you like what you heard today, the easiest thing to support the show is just to subscribe. Hit the like button, the follow button, whatever's in your podcast player. Make it so that we're always there every Wednesday for you, okay? That would be huge. If you want to stay in touch with us, if you want to follow us, there's a couple ways to do that. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. We're slowly migrating to YouTube by putting all of the things we've ever put on video onto that site. There's some surprises coming this year that happened a while ago, but I felt needed to be shared because they're part of the Debaterverse. So the YouTube page is coming. But if you want to follow us, it's at Real Debaters Pod on Twitter and Instagram. It's the Real Debaters Podcast on TikTok. All of the links, all of the one-click away things are in the show notes that you've just listened to. So if you want to follow us there, that would be great too, because then you get to stay in the know of all the things that we do and where we're going to try to do this year and what we've done in the past, so on and so forth. So that's how you stay in touch with us. If you want to contact us, it's therealdebaters@gmail.com. All the spelling for all these things is REEL to keep with the title of the show. So you can send an email to us there, request an episode, want to call out one of us for being a goofball. There's places to do that as well too, like the Real Debaters website. You can email us, or you can go straight to the website, rate us in Podchaser, realdebaters.ca. And if you really, really liked what you heard and you want to support the show in some fashion that requires you spending money, well, we got a couple ways for you to do that as well too. You can buy our merch at the Prop Shop. It's a store through Threadless, and it's online, and you can order stuff. We've got tons of stuff. We've got our Mass Debater wear there. It's our signature, original, and only line. It's our logo on everything. So you can support us that way. Go to the merch tab in the show notes, or if you just got $1 and you're like, hey, I want to give you $1 and donate it to your cause, there is a tab in the show notes as well too that says donate to the Debaterverse, I think. And if you click on that, it takes you to a donation page where you can donate like $1, $3, and $5, and you'll get something for your $1, $3, or $5. Any more than that's just ludicrous. Luda. So that's just kind of what I wanted to tell you, that what I said at the end of the show. This is what you should listen to, because this is all about who we are, and now that we've gotten to where we are, we want to interact with you guys more. So these are the ways to do so. This is the way to stay in touch with us. Thank you to everybody again who's listened to the show. Again, you pressed play, you took a chance. That's cool. So without further ado, this is where I said I would talk more, so it's eggs on your face. No, I got nothing else for you. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week, and watch all them fucking movies. Bye-bye. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, another Real Debaters production is in the can. Thank you so much for pressing play. If this is your first time, specifically more so if this is your second or third, doubly, triply, thank you to you, whatever the hell that means. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, another Real Debaters production is in the can. Thank you so much for listening. If this is your first, second, third, fifth, 20th time, thank you so much. But thank you to the first timers, the ones here who pressed play for the first time and took a gamble on us. If you like what you heard today, the easiest thing to support the show is just to subscribe. Hit the like button, the follow button, whatever's in your podcast player. Make it so that we're always there every Wednesday for you, okay? That would be huge. If you want to stay in touch with us, if you want to follow us, there's a couple ways to do that. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. We're slowly migrating to YouTube by putting all of the things we've ever put on video onto that site. There's some surprises coming this year that happened a while ago, but I felt needed to be shared because they're part of the Debaterverse. So the YouTube page is coming. But if you want to follow us, it's at Real Debaters Pod on Twitter and Instagram. It's the Real Debaters Podcast on TikTok. All of the links, all of the one-click away things are in the show notes that you've just listened to. So if you want to follow us there, that would be great too, because then you get to stay in the know of all the things that we do and where we're going to try to do this year and what we've done in the past, so on and so forth. So that's how you stay in touch with us. If you want to contact us, it's therealdebaters@gmail.com. All the spelling for all these things is REEL to keep with the title of the show. So you can send an email to us there, request an episode, want to call out one of us for being a goofball. There's places to do that as well too, like the Real Debaters website. you can email us, or you can go straight to the website, rate us in Podchaser. It's realdebaters.ca. And if you really, really liked what you heard and you want to support the show in some fashion that requires you spending money, well, we got a couple ways for you to do that as well, too. You can buy our merch at the Prop Shop. It's a store through Threadless, and it's online, and you can order stuff. We've got tons of stuff. We've got our Mass Debater wear there. It's our signature, original, and only line. It's our logo on everything. So you can support us that way. Go to the merch tab in the show notes. Or if you just got $1 and you're like, hey, I want to give you $1 and donate it to your cause, there is a tab in the show notes as well, too, that says donate to the Debaterverse, I think. And if you click on that, it takes you to a donation page where you can donate like $1, $3, and $5, and you'll get something for your $1, $3, or $5. Any more than that's just ludicrous. Luda. So, yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to tell you. That what I said at the end of the show. This is what you should listen to, because this is all about who we are, and now that we've gotten to where we are, we want to interact with you guys more. So these are the ways to do so. This is the way to stay in touch with us. Thank you to everybody, again, who's listened to the show. Again, you pressed play. You took a chance. That's cool. So without further ado, this is where I said I would talk more. So, it's eggs on your face. No, I got nothing else for you. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. And watch all them fucking movies. Bye-bye.